Part of, I believe, a historic reconciliation move between Armenians and Turks. Historically, we're enemies, but we have been meeting and working with Turkish pastors to unite Armenians and Turks.
Many prayed for rescue crews to find those who cannot be seen in the rubble, both in Syria and Turkey.
And that was Fox 26 News reporter Myra Franco. Farmers across the country are feeling a little bit more upbeat to start off the new year. KMJ's Ag Director Don York explains.
The Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer Index rose again in January to a reading of 130. That's 4 points above the 2022 year-end index value. The January survey results also pushed the index 34% above its 2022 low point, which was recorded last June. The barometer's modest rise in January is mainly linked to better expectations for the future. Of the 400 ag producers taking part in the survey, 22% also expect to have a larger farm operating loan compared to 2022, which was down somewhat from last January. Don York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow lost 196 points. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Wednesday forecast.
Afternoon highs running right around normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. But then tomorrow morning, expect patchy fog around the valley. No rain expected, but low pressure moves in this weekend and drops our temps by 10 degrees for a couple of days. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
The Ag Center is your one-stop shop connecting ag professionals with quality services and products from a team of industry leaders. Stop by our booth, U54, at the World Ag Expo in Tulare, February 14th through the 16th.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
206 at News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wednesday installment of Your Afternoon Drive. The phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. Find the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drive KMJ. And watch the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, or twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon. Well, it's the day after the State of the Union, so if you want to know what we're doing, that's what we're doing. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your take. I want to know what you saw, what you heard. If you agree with the 24-hour infotainment networks, either side of the aisle. If you've got your own take on this, all the better. The Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com, very much on topic today. It's sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. And we're asking you simply to grade President Biden's State of the Union speech. A, B, C, D, F. Or, I suppose, didn't watch. Let us know what you think at KMJNow.com. Again, that buzz question is brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. I think that the grading of the President's State of the Union speech is entirely subjective. If you were a Democrat, if you were a liberal, if you were a progressive, I think that that speech was a high C. It was adequate. It was not inspiring. It was not informative. It did not line out serious, comprehensive policy goals. It just kind of meandered through some arguments with the Republicans and some general let's get the job done. So what are we laying down odds on get the job done being one of the positioning statements of the Biden 2024 campaign? I think for me, that might be the most significant thing that really registered, really stuck with me from last night. Let's get the job done. Let's get the job done. Now, the fact checkers, such as they are, have started working over Biden's speech. And boy, it's objectivity is dead, man. Bouncing back and forth between the 5 takeaways from Biden's State of the Union address via FoxNews.com and 5 takeaways from Biden's State of the Union address via ABCNews.com. The 2 very different speeches were witnessed last night. So we'll start with the top moment, I think, according to Fox News, titled simply, "Liar!" As Fox News has it, chaos briefly erupted in the House chamber after Biden repeated an old Democratic talking point that has long been debunked by fact checkers. Quote, "Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset." As Republican congressional members began to protest, Biden said, "I'm not saying it's a majority. Anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal." At which point, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene made herself heard shouting "liar" across the House floor. Biden did backtrack. You could see McCarthy first shaking his head and saying no, and then kind of hands up, guys, chill out, sit down. Did he have a moment there? His joke about liking conversion. Did he score a little victory by painting the bulk of the Republican Party, the Republican House members, into a corner on what cuts they can or cannot advance as the debt ceiling fight continues? Or does he just give the appearance of having done so? 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Sandra calling in with an interesting question. Sandra, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad to have a job. What do you think about last night's speech, Sandra? What did you see?
Well, my personal opinion is I thought that the President's State of the Union address was something that was listened to respectfully and heard. And I'm sure everybody has an opinion, and I won't go into what I say about opinions. But aren't we supposed to politely let him do his State of Opinion address and politely listen to him and show respect? After all, he is the President of the United States. Whether we agree with him or not, we put him in office.
So
and those comments and the booing and the yaying and the shouting, I don't think that was appropriate for what was going on.
Sandra,
I thought we were supposed to be respectful of the president, regardless of our opinions, regardless of how we feel about whether he was lying or telling the truth. Save that for another debate. But it wasn't a debate. It was his State of the Union address, which should be taken with courtesy and respect.
Well, Sandra, I understand exactly where you're coming from, because I think that the civility of earlier eras, the civility that you and I remember from even the Bush administration, certainly you go back to Reagan, and decorum and dignity were chief concerns for the members of the House and the Senate as they sat in that chamber and listened. I'm on the fence. I kind of agree with you. Sit down, let the man make his speech. Because I think that the spectacle of getting up and applauding at every punchline, it's a very stage-managed thing for the party in power. The booing and hollering, to my mind, one, it does not come off as particularly dignified. The other thing is it makes it take longer. And if I'm being totally honest with you, while I wish for the dignity of the office of the President of the United States to be treated with the respect that it deserves, because it is not about the man, it is about the office. I wish almost as fervently that we could get this spectacle done and over with. Because in terms of constitutional obligation, in terms of what the president is required to do in delivering the State of the Union, the moment at which Joe Biden handed over a printed copy of the speech to Kevin McCarthy, acknowledging that he probably delivered it digitally hours before. The moment that the president handed that bundle of papers to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the State of the Union was delivered. It was done. This televised speechifying, once upon a time, that was in and of itself treated as this kind of radical bit of showmanship. What I'm afraid of is last night we saw Republicans boo when Joe Biden said something that was demonstrably false, that was at its most defensible, recognizably outdated. And they booed and they pushed back. Now, do I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming liar so that she can be heard even above the din of slightly more than half the room booing is dignified? No. Is it respectful? No. Marjorie Taylor Greene probably spent all day resting her voice and sipping hot toddies so that when the moment presented itself, she would have the pipes to be heard wailing above the crowd, because Marjorie Taylor Greene fundraises on being a performance artist. As for the rest of the chamber booing and pushing back, if the State of the Union is in and of itself a spectacle for the party in power to make campaign speeches, to push for its agenda, if it is an all-hands-on-deck campaign event, which is what it looked like last night, I don't have a problem with the party in opposition standing up for itself, even in the moment. But what I'm imagining in my mind's eye, and I say this advisedly, because I know that if you found members of Congress booing the president, not screaming, not yelling the F word, not throwing spitballs at him, but just simply booing and shouting down a known and calculated misrepresentation. If you find that distasteful, you will probably find the movie I'm going to recommend extremely distasteful, likely offensive. So go read the IMDb parent guide before you rent it, because there's a lot of cussing and there's some scatological humor that's not for everybody. Watching this room full of people who are supposed to be the representatives of the American people in the bicameral Congress, hooting and hollering and shouting each other down and baiting each other, it reminds me of when they introduce President Camacho in the movie Idiocracy. Now, Joe Biden doesn't have the upper body strength to pull a Tommy gun out from underneath the dais and cut a dozen rounds loose into the ceiling to call for order. And yes, Idiocracy is exactly that nuts and that stupid. It's a dystopian comedy film. And again, it's offensive. Go look it up. Go check out the IMDb parent guide before you rent it, because it ain't for kids. But that's what it reminds me of. Screaming and yelling and carrying on and acting like fools and children and malcontents. Not because it's accomplishing a policy goal, not because it's pushing back on a genuine evil, but just because that's what the stage manager said it was time to do. McCarthy was right to tell him, shh, chill, sit down. We'll keep going on this. I want to hear from you guys. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. What was your takeaway from the State of the Union last night? Was it a campaign speech? Did he score a point when he got the Republicans to holler at him? How many fundraising emails has Marjorie Taylor Greene sent out with a sound clip of her screaming liar at the president again? Looking forward to hearing your take on this. We've got all afternoon to look back on the State of the Union and the Republican response, and we will get to that as well on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you're 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Come on.
Hey there, Charlie. You look down. What's up?
That steam cleaner's busted. Again.
Jeez, I don't know what you plan to do, but you need to get it fixed right this time.
Thought we were getting it fixed right the last time.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
Well, I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it. From what I heard, they're the best.
Oh, good to know.
Hey, call A&E. They'll get out here and get us back up and running right away. And maybe it's time to get a new steam cleaner. Go by there and get a look at their selection.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com. And for your service needs, no matter where you bought it, call A&E at 275-3891. 275-3891.
Happy New Year. This is Christina Mousson with Gar Bennett. We can thank Mother Nature for the winter rain, but again, we see our water being flushed down the drain. It's a familiar tale. Planning ahead avoids disasters and delivers better results. Rain and wet weather signals it's time for pre-emergent herbicides before buds break. Gar Bennett's PCAs and CAMs are experts at timing, treating, and making every drop count. Whether you're looking for regulatory, water, or crop care solutions, one phone call delivers results. Gar Bennett's team of experts design programs that tackle and treat all your growing needs, big or small, while delivering great yields and quality fruit. Grow with Gar Bennett, the growing experts. For the best water, irrigation, nutrition, regulatory, and crop care advice and products at 800-696-6108 and online at garbennett.com. Gar Bennett, we help growers feed the world at 800-696-6108.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boost. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost. Online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS boost.com.
223 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Phone's open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Last night was the State of the Union address by President Biden. It was underwhelming, in my opinion, but I didn't expect to be floored by it. I didn't expect to be wowed by what Joe Biden had to say. I just expected him to come out and hold it together, to begin to make a case for why it is that Joe Biden should get another term as president of the United States. And in so doing, I mean, honestly, I don't think that he convinced anybody of anything they hadn't already made up their mind on. And that does go for both sides of the aisle, to be clear. But Speaker McCarthy popped on with Fox and Friends this morning to talk a little bit about what he saw while he sat behind President Biden last night and listened to this State of the Union speech. He talked to Fox and Friends early today. Congressman Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House.
Ever heard. It was an honor to be able to sit there, but it was like having a very good seat at a bad sporting event. I was hopeful that he would have a conversation like he and I had in the Oval Office just a week ago, but it was so partisan. And the frustration that I'd felt, you heard from people out in the audience. I mean, prices are up more than 13%. We got 4.5 million people crossed our border illegally. He added $800 billion to the debt, and he acted like none of that transpired. And just what this nation went through in the last week, the world was watching with this balloon, the sovereignty, and to try to ignore what China has been doing, it just adds more damage to this nation. So I was hopeful that he would have read what the American public had given him that voice 90 days ago, that it's going to be divided government. I really think the best thing for this president is to go down there with Pete into a diner and listen to the American people in North Carolina about what they think. Mm-hmm. You know, using your ears probably help you a little more than what I was hearing come out of his mouth last night.
Doesn't he realize, Mr. Speaker, when he talks about fentanyl and the border, it's the same topic? Doesn't he realize that it's actually China, fentanyl, and the border? All three are the same topic? When you talk to him away from the cameras, when you are alone with him for an hour, do you think he realizes the magnitude of what's going on there?
No, I think he knows that the border is so bad he wants to ignore it. But, you know, last night, members get to invite a guest, one guest each. And the number of people, of these members who invited families that sat and had a child die from fentanyl. I met a man and woman last night who lost their son, who was an Eagle Scout, who was straight A, who was in college, who wasn't buying fentanyl. You know, it was laced with something else that he was just purchasing. And this is the problem, because they didn't come from the border. Every community is now a border community. Fentanyl is now across this nation. And where is it starting and coming from? China, through our border, killing the Americans between the ages of 18 and 45, your most productive years. Those are the years people serve in the military. Those are the people of working. I mean, it's destroying our nation. And I just watch him of what he talks about. The way to stop it is you go after China and being weak last night,
cartels.
Didn't do anything, and actually securing this border. We do not have operational control of our border. And how much time? He never even mentioned the vice president who he put in charge of it last night. Right. What has she done about it?
It's Speaker McCarthy on Fox and Friends this morning with his reaction to the State of the Union. And there's a lot more to what Speaker McCarthy had to say, but just checking in right there. Biden did not acknowledge the crisis at the border. He didn't recognize the connection between China and the fentanyl that then comes north across our southern border. The China situation was completely off the table last night. And I think that that's because Biden, or rather Biden's speechwriters, know he looked weak. He looked weak letting that spy craft meander over the United States. The delicacy with which he is handling China is not going to be perceived as discretion. And the situation at the border, I have to assume that he does have the intelligence available to him, When I say intelligence, I mean the data collected by the law enforcement and intelligence agencies that actually work at the border. I believe that the President of the United States has access to that data. I don't think they're keeping it a secret. I know there's a lot on the president's plate, whether it's Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or anybody else. It's a busy job. There's too much going on. He tasked Kamala Harris with working on the border crisis, working on the immigration crisis. And it is a security crisis and it is an immigration crisis. And that's one of those pieces that I think gets lost when you're talking to coastal elite conservative media types. They don't have any earthly clue what the immigration situation really is. And they don't have any earthly clue just how essential immigrants are to the economy. But instead of having a substantial, intelligent debate about that, the President of the United States just ignores the entire thing. When he went to El Paso, it was so choreographed. It was so sterilized. There are people from El Paso who couldn't believe it was their own town. They were literally running people off the street. They were hiding human beings from the view of the president and the view of the media. Because as has become, I think, conventional wisdom, the Democrats, whether they're in power or not, have no intention of solving any problems. They have no intention of fixing the crisis at the border, not through humanitarian means, not through a correction of the immigration system. He talks about amnesty for dreamers, and other than that, completely ignores what's happening at our southern border. And the fentanyl crisis is just one piece of that puzzle. All respect to Ducey over there, or whatever his name is, but there's a lot more to this than China pills and putting more guards along the southern border. And Speaker McCarthy knows that probably better than anybody else in the House of Representatives. But that's not what the president wants to talk about. When we get back, we'll spend a little bit of time on Sarah Huckabee Sanders' response to the State of the Union. Phones are open for your calls, 490-5858. Right now, it's time for an update of headlines with Liz Kern in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
A Texas man pleads guilty today to federal charges in the 2019 deadly mass shooting in El Paso. 24-year-old Patrick Crucius is accused of killing 23 people at the Walmart in response to, quote, the Hispanic invasion of Texas. Prosecutors say he drove more than 10 hours from Dallas to the border city. The U.S. government will not seek the death penalty for the federal hate crimes and firearms violations, but he still faces a possible death sentence if convicted on a state capital murder charge. President Biden travels out to DeForest, Wisconsin to promote his economic agenda a day after his State of the Union. Fox's Mike Tobin is there.
He pretty much gave the same speech he gave last night, only shorter. He started out with his call for bipartisanship and made the claim that fighting for the sake of fighting gets us nowhere. And then he dove right into the partisan fight, making that claim again that Republicans want to cut Social Security and Medicare benefits.
A lot of Republicans, their dream is to cut Social Security and Medicare. Well, let me just say this. It's your dream, but I'm going to, my veto pen, make it a nightmare.
Now, it should be noted that Republicans, specifically Speaker McCarthy, deny that Social Security or Medicare are on the table.
The White House and House Republicans have until June to come to an agreement that would raise the debt ceiling before the U.S. starts defaulting on its loans. The IRS may have a new target at the restaurant.
The IRS proposing a new rule, which it says is to improve tip reporting compliance. Americans for Tax Reform charges new IRS agents who were promised would only target the rich. They're coming after waiters' tips now. But as an IRS official explains, this is not a proposal for the auditing of servers. It's a proposal for comment to welcome further conversation from all interested parties. IRS wants annual reports from employers on annual tip revenue, including tips that are charged. This comes after an Inspector General report found an estimated 30% of employers with tip reporting agreements hadn't reported tips worth almost $1.7 billion. Teresi Crowley, Fox News.
I'm in love with your body, every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you.
Ed Sheeran played an impromptu gig at Hobbiton. The English singer and songwriter made a detour from his current tour of New Zealand for a visit to the outdoor movie set that appears in Peter Jackson's legendary Lord of the Rings films and its Hobbit prequels. Sheeran then stopped by a pair of intermediate schools in Auckland for more surprise performances. On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 196 points, closing at 33,959. The S&P 500 lost 46 points. NASDAQ dropped 203. 2:33 at KMJ. Valley weather right now, sunny, 60 at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has more of our Wednesday forecast.
Expect patchy fog around the valley tomorrow morning, and looking even further ahead, low pressure moves in this weekend. No rain, but temps drop by 10 degrees for a couple of days. Otherwise, afternoon highs are running normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
February may be the shortest month, but as they say, big things come in small packages. Because it's a promotion frenzy this February at the Tachi Palace. Over $160,000 in cash and prizes. Over 2,500 promotion winners. See TachiPalace.com or the Premier Club for complete promotion details. It's a promotion frenzy! All packed into the shortest month at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort. This is 40.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code READY for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code READY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code READY for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
What a year it's been for Best Concrete Blocks. Seems like everybody's finding a way to use these versatile and affordable blocks. Walls, barriers, material separation, they're nearly indestructible, and now Best Concrete Blocks is introducing Pretty Boy, a great choice for adding an aesthetically appealing block with a beautiful stonemason's design. The Pretty Boy block is perfect for areas that have public visibility. See Pretty Boy for yourself at bestconcreteblocks.com or call 288-7902.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. Roto-Rooter should be your first call for any plumbing or water cleanup needs. Put their 85 years of experience to work for you. Roto-Rooter is available 24/7. Call your local Roto-Rooter for a free estimate at 1-800-GET-ROTO or online at rotorooterca.com.
Looking forward to meeting agricultural businesses at the World Ag Expo? Stop by the Ag Center booth U54 February 14th through the 16th and meet with over 30 businesses in one.
It's Allbritton's complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again for just $129.
Online at allbritton.com.
This is KMJ Ag Director Don York inviting you to join me for this year's World Ag Expo, February 14th through the 16th. The World Ag Expo this year is live with seminars, demonstrations, and more. To visit the show, just go to worldagexpo.com. The KMJ Ag Reports are brought to you by Lawrence Tractor, your John Deere dealer. Peckway is the best orchard and vineyard spreaders for any application, big or small. AM Sharp and Golden State Peterbilt, the transportation people.
Teresi Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
.238 on your afternoon drive. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. The GOP rebuttal to the State of the Union came courtesy of Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I thought she did a pretty good job. Pretty good. I'm not giving it the rave review I know some people have been handing off. But she missed a couple of beats for me, but some solid points made in pushing back on Biden's message. Let's hear from the governor.
I'm the first woman to lead my state, and he's the first man to surrender his presidency to a woke mob that can't even tell you what a woman is. Despite Democrats' trillions in reckless spending and mountains of debt, we now have the worst border crisis in American history. Every day we are told we must partake in their rituals, salute their flags, and worship their false idols, all while big government colludes with big tech to strip away the most American thing there is, your freedom of speech. Being a mom to 3 young children taught me not to believe every story I hear. So forgive me for not believing much of anything I heard tonight from President Biden.
Good stuff from Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Now the governor of Arkansas, the youngest governor in the country, half of Joe Biden's age. And for the right, she did a great job. I think that the culture war, maybe this is just me. I don't think that it is. But I'm willing to stipulate that it is possible that it is just me. The culture wars are great for getting people mad. They're great for getting people to lock in and watch the freak shows that erupt on both sides of the aisle. The culture wars are fantastic for ratings. If you want to scare people, if you want to titillate people, if you want to get those rage clicks so people will hang around and consume whatever it is you're laying down, the culture wars are awesome for all of that. They're really only second to a well-honed conspiracy theory. Every couple of years, a new totem is elevated to the head of the culture wars, and it becomes the most significant thing in the world, except for all the people who have jobs, hobbies, friends, and stuff to do that doesn't involve sitting in front of the computer or the TV and getting mad about what other people do in the privacy of their own homes. Now, Bill Maher over at HBO continues with his program Real Time. And one of the most remarkable things about watching or listening to Bill Maher is how much he is starting to sound like a conservative simply by being pro-First Amendment. It really is a remarkable thing that the first of our enumerated unalienable rights would ultimately prove to be the common cause in such a divided country. And I know Mark can get a little bit coarse. Josh assures me he has gone through and he has thoroughly edited this so as to avoid any loosely. Yeah, that's right. I'm putting it on you. I'm playing the audio you sent me. I wouldn't just roll the YouTube thing. That wouldn't be cool. Mark could be a little salty. We've edited this so that the stuff that the FCC would object to is no longer a part of it. But this is where Sanders going for the culture war talking points, I think loses the opportunity to promote policy points. Real, substantial, universal issues of concern. Let's hear just a minute of what Mars got to say. Donald, I see you there. Don't move, man. We'll get to your call in just a second.
And finally, new rule. If you're part of today's woke revolution, you need to study the part of revolutions where they spin out of control because the revolutionaries get so drunk on their own purifying elixir, they imagine they can reinvent the very nature of human beings. Communists thought selfishness could be cast out of human nature. Russian revolutionaries spoke of the new Soviet man who wasn't motivated by self-interest, but instead wanted to be part of a collective. No, turns out he wanted to be on a yacht in a Gucci tracksuit holding a vodka and a prostitute. Not standing in line all day for a potato. The problem with communism and with some very recent ideologies here at home is that they think you can change reality by screaming at it, that you can bend human nature by holding your breath. But that's the difference between reality and your mommy. Lincoln once said that you can repeal all past history, but you still cannot repeal human nature. But he's canceled now, so him.
We'll get a little bit more from Bill Maher in the hours to come, but I think that that's a good place to jump off. The woke mob on the left is completely out of control. They think that they have invented righteousness, and they have made it not just easy, but convenient for conservatives who might not otherwise have a substantial argument to simply point at the woke idiots and call them what they are, woke idiots. And to talk about how their thought policing is un-American. I don't feel compelled to worship anybody else's idol, false or otherwise. I don't feel compelled to salute anybody else's flag. I'm not scared of people who are different than me. And maybe that's different in Arkansas. Maybe in the part of the world where Governor Sanders is currently making a sincere effort to serve, that fear is still very real. I'm worried that we've got a government that will not stop spending all of my money, all of my children's money, all of my great-great-great-grandchildren's money. I am worried that there is a government who is going to completely yank the rug out from underneath the middle class again, despite both sides coming out and talking about how important the middle class is. And I expect from the Democrats a certain amount of, don't worry, we'll protect you from the bad old men on the right. And then the rug to get pulled. This isn't an either-or issue. Both of these political parties tell the middle class how much they're looking out for them, and both of these political parties continue to fail both the middle class and literally everybody who's not donor class over and over and over again. One of the things that Sanders got dead right, is that Washington, D.C. is being run by a cartel of tax and spend liberals who will reach into your pocketbook, take every cent that they possibly can, do so under the threat of the force of law, if not simply under the threat of force. And then they will waste your money on nonsense, not national defense, not education, not good highways, not subsidizing medicine for old people. They'll waste it on nonsense, on studies and social programs and equity efforts that attempt to reshape reality into some place where life is fair. She had so many good arguments, but the culture war isn't it for me anymore. And I'm willing to be wrong. If the culture war is weighing on you, I want to know that. I want to hear that. I want to know that that's important. But I think that she missed a trick going to the culture war when she had an opportunity to fact check Joe Biden, to call him out for his lies. That number of jobs that he was patting himself on the back for, did you know he inflated that number if you correct it for pre-pandemic, post-pandemic load balancing? He exaggerated the number of jobs that he claims his administration created fivefold. He lied. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. We got Don on the phone, and we'll talk to him when we get back. Stick around.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Chris Daniel for Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Ransomware, wire fraud, breaches. You're talking about it for your business already. How could you not be? These are nation-based bad actors, criminal cartels, the same ones who target government and Fortune 500 companies are targeting you. It's time for the next step in protecting your company. It's time to call Breadcrumb. Trusted by law enforcement and nationally recognized, the team at Breadcrumb delivers results, period. Go now to breadcrumbcyber.com because evidence is everywhere.
Hey, Christopher Gabriel from Fresno's Morning News. Folks, if your company is looking for much more exposure in the agricultural industry, you need to check out the Ag Center. Farmers, growers, talking to you now. Are you looking to find the very best agricultural resources in one location? Why wouldn't you be? Call the Ag Center today at 209-454-5700, or you can find them online at theagcenter.com. Better yet, stop by the Ag Center booth at the World Ag Expo February 14th through the 16th. That's booth U54. I will see you there.
If you have an end zone dance, get ready to use it, because Save Mart has amazing deals to help you score huge at your big game party. Select varieties of pizza, soda, or party-sized Frito-Lay chips are buy two, get three free of equal or lesser value, limit 2 offers. Mix and match to feed everyone. And medium avocados from Mexico are just 2 for $1. Download the Save Mart app to see all the weekly deals, plus save even more with Save Smart Rewards. Score savings this week at Save Mart.
Every day, people from all over Central California are discovering unbeatable savings at Own a Car Fresno. Most dealers can't match Own a Car when it comes to great value. We work hard to get you a car you can afford, whether you're a first-time buyer or have less than perfect credit. Bottom line, Own a Car offers some of the easiest financing, low down and monthly payments, a lifetime powertrain warranty, and one of the state's largest selections of popular vehicles. So join thousands of happy customers who've made us one of California's top-rated dealers. 500 down sales events. No score, no more. Own-a-car.com.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you're 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Life can be extremely stressful and overwhelming. Most, if not all of us, can relate. If you or anyone you know is in crisis or suicidal, call the Central Valley Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-8255. There is always help And we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Reach out at 1-800-273-8255.
It's a new year, and KMJ has a new app. Get it now at the App Store by searching KMJ 580.
Rolling up on 3 o'clock on your afternoon drive. It's Philip Teresi at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Talking about the State of the Union. If you want to join in on this, phones are open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Last night, as the president addressed the nation, he said that, quote, "As I stand here tonight, we have created a record 12 million new jobs, more jobs than created in 2 years than any president has ever created in 4 years." According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's a lie. The Biden administration has created, and this is not a bad number. This is not a number to be ashamed of. Under the Biden administration, the economy has grown to add 2.7 million jobs overall, because the other 9.3 million jobs he's claiming credit for creating, he helped to blow up with our pandemic response. They weren't new jobs. They were people going back to work after the country shut down. The next piece in this, and this is significant. It's one of the most politically fraught lines in this entire thing, and I think that it's one of the most consequential things that a president could throw out in the middle of a State of the Union address. And there's a reason it did not get a warm reception. Biden said, ban assault weapons. Ban them now, once and for all. He talked about the gunman who allegedly used a handgun to kill 11 people who were celebrating Lunar New Year at a ballroom near Los Angeles. One of his guests was the gentleman who ultimately stopped that gunman and prevented him from taking more lives. The weapon that was used, as law enforcement reports, it was a semi-automatic pistol with a illegal magazine. It was a magazine holding more than 10 rounds. The president did not elaborate on what he means by assault weapon. Of course not. Because as soon as you start to pin it down, people are going to start doing things like pointing out which of those assault weapons are scary black rifles that are in every way except their outward appearance indistinguishable from the kind of gear that you would take deer hunting. There will be other people who talk about military-grade hardware without having any earthly clue what that actually means. And there will be chipping away at the Second Amendment instead of looking at the root of this violence and looking at what motivates these people to want to do harm at this level. It's a remarkable thing because it's mostly getting a pass. Even in the mainstream media, they're just not talking about it. More on the State of the Union when we get back. Your calls are invited at 490-5858 or toll-free 800-776-5858. We got an update of headlines coming with Jim Miller and a look at your afternoon drive with Ron McCary on the way on KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
California growers, when the going gets tough, the tough gets Phytech. With our new fertigation and real-time tank level tracking, as well as full hydraulic monitoring and automation's capabilities, the Valley's top growers are already saving huge amounts of water, fertilizers, energy, and labor, all while enjoying increased yields and healthier produce. With Phytech, you'll never grow alone. Get peace of mind with our 24/7 agronomic and tech support. Contact us at phytech.com. That's Phytech, PHYTECH.com.
Delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Farmers work hard to make a living. Quality ag equipment should work for you and save you time and money. Stop out at the World Ag Expo and see the Peckway Orchard and Vineyard Spreaders. The best spreaders for any application, big or small. Our products are made by listening to you, the farmer. The Peckway Vineyard and Orchard Spreaders have a unique multi-attachment system that can handle any type of material, from conveying to spinner broadcasting to banding and all applications in between. The SF5 is our precision granular fertilizer spreader with a patented breakaway conveyor system. This protects your equipment while maintaining spreading precision from light to heavy applications. The right agricultural equipment can make a world of difference on the farm. Peckway will have a full display of products you can trust at the World Ag Expo. Stop on by and see for yourself. Peckway, the best vineyard and orchard spreaders, period. Visit us in the North exhibits at booth N36. That's booth N36. See you there.
Dum da dum dum. It's time for the unfiltered truth. I'm making like Perry Mason, but I'm really Ray Appleton. Yeah. And you younger types are going, what's a Perry Mason? And you're also like a deer in the headlight when I talk about a salt-based water softener. Oh, that's okay. Let me explain about Life Source water systems. You want to taste and feel the difference? Hey, you're all about health, right? You want the most pure water you can just throw into your body? And how about your hair? Your hair is going to shine and glisten like, oh, wow. And now you get it with a Life Source water system. Unbelievably fantastic water coming out of every tap and every faucet in your home. It's filtered, it's delicious, and it requires zero maintenance. No filters to change, no monthly servicing, forget about it. And no salt. Call 559-330-1850 to talk to a factory rep, or click lifesourcewater.com. 330-1850. You want to taste and feel the difference? Then do what I just told you to do. All right, thank you very much.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. Another phone call comes in threatening Clovis Unified students, similar to the calls received Friday and Monday. The lockdown was lifted shortly afterwards. Here's KMJ's Liz Kern with more.
The call came in around 11:30 in the morning, threatening the safety of students and staff at Clovis West. Nearby Fort Washington Elementary School also began a shelter in place. Clovis Unified says they're working with law enforcement to identify the source of the 3 phone calls in the past 4 days. Police say someone's using a smartphone app that generates a fake, untraceable phone number. Still, the threats need to be taken seriously. Officers searched the campus and remained present there the rest of the day. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
One of the 2 suspects accused of being involved in the execution-style shooting of 6 people in a city nearby Celia pleading not guilty. Court documents say Noah Beard and Angel Uriarte are facing multiple charges. Beard pled not guilty yesterday to the murder charges, and Uriarte did not show up to the hearing because he's recovering from a gunshot wound. They allegedly shot 6 people to death, including a 10-month-old child in Goshen on January 16th. Former Twitter executives testifying on Capitol Hill concerning alleged political bias. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has details.
The House Oversight Committee hearing looking into Twitter's role in suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story featured former leaders from the tech giant that Chairman James Comer accused of showing bias towards the GOP.
Twitter aggressively suppressed conservative elected officials, journalists, and activists.
The hearing focused on a 2020 story from the New York Post blocked by Twitter, which Yoel Roth, former global head of trust and safety, says was a mistake, but was done out of concern for security.
Twitter noticed activity related to the laptop that, at first glance, bore a lot of similarities to the 2016 Russian hack and leak operation targeting the DNC.
A former lawyer for Twitter says he's not aware of any unlawful collusion with any government agency or campaign. Ryan Schmills, Fox News.
2 women from Naval Air Station Lemoore will be flying over the State Farm Stadium before the big game this Super Bowl Sunday. Naval Lieutenants Ariel Ash and Katie Martinez are honoring 50 years of women flying in the Navy. The big moment takes place after the national anthem. Fresno City Women's Commission giving away scholarships to female scholars. City officials said those scholarships are $500 each. 17 scholarships going to be given away to graduating seniors, students enrolled in 2-year colleges, students obtaining a bachelor's degree, and for students aiming for a post-bachelor's graduate degree. The application deadline is next Wednesday. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon high is running right around normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. But then tomorrow morning, expect patchy fog around the valley. No rain expected, but low pressure moves in this weekend and drops our temps by 10 degrees for a couple of days. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at afternoon traffic on this Wednesday, the 40,000 block of Brickyard Drive, we have a collision with unknown injuries. In Tulare County, eastbound 198 at Avenue 1.5. That's 1.5 Avenue. That's an interesting name. A reported fire, either brush or trees. And in Tulare County, Highway 198 and Road 180, a collision with no injuries. In the KMJ Traffic Center, I'm Ron McCary.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
3:05 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Phones are open for your calls, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. We've been talking about the State of the Union. The State of the Union reportedly is strong. It is also completely unnecessary, by the way, from a constitutional legal standpoint, for the President of the United States to stand and do speechifying on TV. The moment that the President handed the Speaker of the House a typed copy of the speech, his constitutional obligation had been fulfilled. The rest of this is stage dressing. Charlie Kirk popped up on Twitter. You may remember Mr. Kirk as the founder and the president of Turning Point USA. He was involved in a conversation with another conservative propagandist, and he had an interesting take, a surprising take. Charlie Kirk and his buddy agreed that Biden's speech was surprisingly kinda MAGA. Kirk says, it sounds strange, but it's true. Biden appropriated themes from the nationalist movement and laced them into his speech. It's all lies and nonsense, but it's very telling. Kirk goes on to say it shows that the Democrat data monstrosity sees that the path to victory in 2024 is through populism and nationalism. Their data is right. Damn it, I wish I didn't agree with him. Sorry, that last is me. Kirk continues, people are yearning for nationalist revival. Biden can't deliver it, but even mentioning it helps him. Man, I don't like that he's right, but he's right. Charlie Kirk continues, Biden's political superpower is to be insanely radical, wildly unpopular, but unlike Obama or Hillary, less people hate him. We talked about this yesterday. Joe Biden's move is nice guy jujitsu. You can't clobber him without looking like a bully. Kirk continues saying, when Biden delivers another slurred, barely coherent speech, The public's gut reaction is sympathy, not loathing. It's easy to mock, but he's not easy to hate. Democrats are reading the room way better than Republicans. Again, this coming from Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA. Democrats are reading the room way better than Republicans. Democrats pepper in their social liberalism and pander to identity politics. But tonight shows that going into 2024, Biden is focused on white working class voters. He knows they are the key swing vote this cycle. And Kirk's right. And it's a headbender when I agree with this guy. The observation that he makes that Democrats pepper in their social liberalism to pander to identity politics. But Charlie Kirk is saying something that I've been saying for quite a while now, and it's something that I said about the Sarah Huckabee Sanders response. The identity politics, they play for a minute. They are an applause line. Whichever side you're on, when somebody says the thing that makes you feel good, the thing that tells you that you're normal and sane and safe and okay, that feels good, and you'll give applause to that. It's not what people go out and vote for. It's not what people lose sleep about. It is something that motivates laudits on Twitter. Charlie Kirk hits the nail on the head when he says that going into 2024, you got to focus on white working class voters, the middle class, the middle class, the middle class. And he concludes saying Democrats are getting better than Republicans at speaking populism. There's a scary thought. As the neoliberals in the GOP ramp up, it is clear Democrats believe they can splinter our movement through false poll-tested messaging to regain Congress and keep the White House. The movement, if Charlie Kirk and I are in agreement on the points that I think we're in agreement on, if I'm understanding him, and that alignment is you've got to focus on the middle class. The middle class may stop and watch the freak show when given the opportunity. Proof positive that you can get people to stay tuned to watch a dumpster fire. I've given you guys this statistic, I feel like, every day for a week now. But we got to go back to it. We can get you to watch the freak show. We can get you to watch the dumpster fire. Proof positive that the American people will make time to watch garbage is the fact that Kim Kardashian has a net worth of nearly $2 billion. We'll stop and watch the 24-hour infotainment networks as they portray every gaffe as proof positive that the guy's brain's fallen out of his skull. What I care about, and what everybody I know who's working for their paycheck cares about, is keeping their paycheck, having their paycheck meet their needs. And I'm not talking about $15 an hour at Burger King here. I'm talking about guys who've been working in a trade for 10 years and 20 years who are bringing home, not just grossing, they are bringing home sometimes over $100,000, but certainly their gross is well in excess of $100,000. That should be more than enough money. But when you start peeling off taxes, it doesn't go as far as it used to. Then you add in inflation, you add in gas prices. It doesn't go as far as it should. You look at the housing crisis. Look, the housing crisis is a real thing. And the most obvious and visible proof of that are the homeless encampments. It's the panhandlers. That's the most immediate, visible kind of heartbreaking reminder that we aren't building enough of the houses that people need. And when we're building houses, we're allowing them to be bought up by foreign nationals. This thing that Valadeo's got going about not letting Chinese corporations buy up American farmland, that needs to be extended to housing, and it needs to be made retroactive. Because it's simply insanity that we are allowing an enemy foreign power to buy houses and to buy multifamily housing to jack up the cost of living on Americans, especially blue-collar and brown-collar Americans. The guy who's going out and punching a clock, or the guy who's going out and hustling his butt off. The guys and gals who are working for a living, they are sick of working for a living and then watching that money get yanked out of their pockets and be sent off to contribute to somebody else's nonsense. I don't want to pay somebody else's student loans. I don't want to pay somebody else's gas bill. I don't want to pay a corrupt and out of control corporation recompense for their lost profit margin because they're held accountable for killing people. I'm tired of my pocket getting dipped into. I'm tired of my money not going far enough. Look, I'm never going to get rich doing this for a living, and that's not why I work in radio. I make enough money that I shouldn't have a worry in the world, shouldn't have a second thought. And I'm fortunate, we're doing fine, we're okay. Now ask me what the plans for my next vacation are. Because half of my paycheck is going out the window for taxes. Because in order to serve my family breakfast in the morning, I got to go drop 7 bones on a dozen eggs. Because God forbid I get sick, I'm going to have to file bankruptcy. If I got really sick, if I got cancer, if something like that rolled down, I can hold out for a little while. But how many of you, if you're being really honest with yourself, how many of you are facing exactly the same thing? You've got a decent income. With your spouse, maybe you've got a 6-figure income. You've got health insurance. You got a good rate on your mortgage. You're doing everything that you are supposed to be doing. And in any generation prior to this, you would be upper middle class. You would be building wealth, not treading water. We generate so much wealth, so much productivity, and we let it go funneling out of the country, handing it off to China for junk and tchotchkes, handing it off to damn near every other country on the planet, because apparently, even if we aren't going to go play Team America World Police, we're still going to play Captain Save-A-Ho on the international stage. And we're going to go out and rescue everybody else in the world from the consequences of how they voted. I don't even think that populism or nationalism in the way that Charlie Kirk is promoting it is necessarily what's in the heart of the American voter, that middle-class, blue-collar male voter. I think get your hand out of my wallet is what's on their mind. Stop telling me how to live my life. Stop worrying about what me and my neighbors do in the driveway. Stop taxing me every time I take a breath. Stop robbing me of my wealth today in order to fund and fuel programs that guarantee that my children and my grandchildren won't have the first bloody clue of how to generate their own wealth in 10, 20, 30 years. I never thought I'd agree with Charlie Kirk. But here we are, coming off the State of the Union. Joe Biden wants to take your guns. Joe Biden wants to ignore China infringing on our sovereign territory. Joe Biden wants to bait Republicans into stamping their feet and booing a thing that they weren't on board with to begin with in order to score political points, to act as if though he got one over on the GOP. Can we just balance the budget? Now, there's something that he talked about and how he doesn't want to do it, isn't going to do it, not going to negotiate. More on the way. Your take on the State of the Union's welcome on the phones, 490-5858. I'm Philip Teresi. It's your afternoon drive on KMJ.
And I have just a couple of traffic incidents to report in the Fresno area, westbound 180, northbound 41. Be on the lookout. Someone is walking in the center divider. In Madero County, the 40,000 block of Bridge Road, there's been a collision with unknown injuries. That's not Bridge Road, that's Brickyard Road. I'll get that for you. In the KMJ Traffic Center, I'm Ron McCurry.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are more than 50% off, like the Leather Vortex Gaming Chair, now just $119.99. Offer ends 2/11 while supplies last. Staples, the working and learning and savings store.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Open the doors to over $4 million in cash payouts monthly at Mono Wind Casino in Auberry. Feeling lucky? Play your favorite slots on Sundays and receive a free gift when you earn 500 points. Thirsty? Enjoy happy hour $3 drafts Friday through Sunday all day long. Don't forget to fill up at the 24-hour fuel station and check out the general store at Mono Wind Casino. See monowind.com for details. M-O-N-O, Mono Wind Casino. Where's lots of fun. Must be 21 to game.
I have to say this. I am personally astounded how the Glass Shop in Visalia continues to do everything right. They're making some amazing business decisions, and that's great for you. Okay, so what now? No tax whatsoever on any windows up until April 15th. That'll save you plenty right there, especially if you got a big job. No taxes. They'll front that bill with Uncle Sam. You don't worry about it. Next, Scott has become kind of a living legend in this business of windows and doors and all of this stuff. He needs a title, like, shall we call him the Wizard of Windows? When he comes to your home, he'll tell you before you even know what you need, and this is blowing people's minds. He'll tell you what type of window. He'll tell you what brand. Now, you ultimately make the decision, but this guy knows. And the Glass Shop has windows that have a double lifetime warranty. You sell your home, and whoever buys the home gets that warranty as well. And they'll get it done like in 3 to 4 weeks, where most companies take 2 to 3 months. Click theglassshop.com. It's that simple. The Glass Shop in Visalia. Click theglassshop.com. There you go. Tax-free, don't forget.
Tom Sharp for Maximum Air Gun.
Firearm regulations dogging your favorite hobby? Skip the restrictions and dive into the world of air rifles. 22 caliber 350 cal, only at Maximum Air Guns in Fresno. From high-power slugs to specialized scopes, we have everything you need to eradicate pests, target shoot, or try your hand at precision competitions. Buy today, shoot today. Maximum Air Gun specializes in paintball, airsoft, and we have a huge selection of air rifles. Maximum Air Gun on Blackstone next to Me and Ed's Pizza. You will be amazed.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
This is KMJ Ag Director Don York inviting you to join me for this year's World Ag Expo, February 14th through the 16th. The World Ag Expo this year is live with seminars, demonstrations, and more. To visit the show, just go to worldagexpo.com. The KMJ Ag Reports are brought to you by Lawrence Tractor, your John Deere dealer. Peckway is the best orchard and vineyard spreaders for any application, big or small. AM Sharp and Golden State Peterbilt, the transportation people.
Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all.
Boy, that was a big applause line, wasn't it? President Biden last night at the State of the Union. Ban assault weapons now. He doesn't really explain what an assault weapon is. The individual that he pointed to and appropriately recognized for heroism, the guy who stopped the Lunar New Year shooter in Southern California. Those crimes were committed with a pistol, with a handgun. Describing it as a semi-automatic handgun, I look. I know the gun owners know why I'm kind of stammering here. If it's not a revolver and it's not a single action, that's a pistol. That's how they work. Saying it in a way that sounds scarier to get low information voters to jump on board with your unconstitutional gun grab. I'm not sure that anybody's going for this. And in any event, the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. Do I believe that if a random individual is targeted by the full force of the United States government, that they are going to stand up to that tyranny as an individual successfully? Nope. You don't know how to make bombs that big. You don't have Marines. Do I think that a organized militia, a group of people who are intent on deflecting tyranny, responding to illegal, unlawful encroachments, can send a message, can deter that behavior? Yep, I think that that's absolutely possible. Now, I'm still not entirely convinced that the Bundys and their BLM standoff was the righteous cause that some portrayed it as. I think that some of this is we had an old man who didn't want to pay his fair share and got mad when the government started to close in on him and hold him accountable for not paying his fair share. Nevertheless, they demonstrated very clearly that an organized group of people who were determined not to allow the government to seize any individual's property would be effective in stopping that. The point of the Second Amendment is to repel tyranny. The point of the Second Amendment is to have a final point at which the government is held accountable by the people. And I'm frustrated with my government. And I'm kind of horrified by my president. And I'm concerned that the voters of the United States are going to continue down this path. And the country that I love, this incredible experiment, is going to be lost to bread and circuses. It really worries me. I genuinely fear that as we continue to degrade education, as we continue to degrade serious thought, I am fearful that we will lose what we have, because the one piece that the Founding Fathers made very clear is that the electorate would have to be mindful, it would have to be educated, it would have to take the franchise seriously. But you heard that room. That's a room full of people who swore to uphold and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That includes well-intended but idiotic infringements from within.
Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all.
A bunch of people screaming and cheering and clapping. I don't want to see any more kids dead. I don't want to see any more people get hurt by some knucklehead, some whack job. And that's where I go back to Charlie Kirk's commentary on how the culture wars aren't the winner here. Yeah, they'll get the hooting clowns to come out and hoot, but it doesn't motivate people who are worried about paying their bills, keeping a roof over their head, making sure their kids' needs are met. The people who are actually thinking, the people who have actually got some skin in the game, the folks who are truly creating the wealth in this country. It's not bankers, it's not lawyers, it's not the Wall Street type, it's the middle class. It's the guy that hangs your ceiling fan, it's the guy that installs your shower, it's the guy that sets your tile, it's the guy that fixes your car. It's the men and women who go out and build things and do things. That's how wealth is created in this country. And those people have been endlessly taken from by the rich, by the poor, by the government in place of the poor. Because the truth is, I've with a handful of exceptions, most of the broke people I know want to stop being broke, and they're perfectly happy to go get a job to do that. Yeah, there's always takers. There's always greedy bums out there. That's never going to be eradicated from human nature. But at the State of the Union, the president talks about infringing on a enumerated constitutional right, and he gets applause. And it is a culture wars issue. It is not an economic issue. And it is not the cause of the shootings. It is not the cause of the violence that we see that gets blamed on the tool. Phones are open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Right now, we are going to take a break for an update of headlines with Jim Miller, who is in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. The man accused in the shooting death of another and then going on the run for more than a year, pleading not guilty. Tywayne Robinson accused of killing 24-year-old Isaac Johnson in May of 2021. He was later arrested in Oregon in December of 2022. He was arraigned Tuesday and faces a charge of murder. If convicted, he could get 50 years in prison. Robinson's next hearing is scheduled for March the 14th. Investigators in Las Vegas solving two cold cases thanks to the DNA of a Central Valley man. In the early 90s, two women found strangled and sexually assaulted about a year apart. In 2012, it was determined that the two cases shared a suspect. In 2022, police identified Eddie Snowden Jr. as a suspect. Fresno police were able to get a DNA sample from his living relatives to prove his connection to the cases. Snowden died of natural causes in 2017. The man charged with attacking Paul Pelosi last October while also seeking to kidnap then Speaker Nancy Pelosi was back in federal court for a status hearing today. Fox's Claudia Collin has more from San Francisco.
Wearing an orange jail uniform, his long hair now cut short and shackled at the ankles, DePape had no reaction, as prosecutors said they are making progress, combing through 16,000 pages of discovery, including dramatic security footage showing DePape breaking into the Pelosi San Francisco home, and police body cam video that captured the moment DePape swung a hammer into Pelosi's head, fracturing the 82-year-old's skull. Once the government has gone through all the evidence, it will be turned over to DePapp's legal team so they can do the same and build his defense. In San Francisco, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon highs running right around normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. But then tomorrow morning, expect patchy fog around the valley. No rain expected, but low pressure moves in this weekend and drops our temps by 10 degrees for a couple of days. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And I have just a couple of traffic incidents to report to you here. Southbound 99 at East Childs off-ramp. This is in the Merced area. There's a pedestrian walking along the side of the road. Hopefully they have taken care of that situation. And in Madera County, there's cleanup going on after a collision. This is at the 40,000 block of Brickyard Drive. The 40,000 block of Brickyard Drive. Collision with unknown injuries, cleanup going on. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends 2/25. See staples.com/store/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Chris Daniel for PDA, the Pipkin Detective Agency, with the tools, experience, and knowledge to protect you even when no one else can. You know it. Maybe you've even felt it. Law enforcement agencies are overwhelmed, and now the number of cops is dropping by the hundreds. Can they always be there when you need it? That's why I'd like you to consider privatized law enforcement with PDA. Privatized law enforcement. Having someone there when the cops can't be. The Pipkin Agency is staffed and ready to provide the protection, tracking, and all the manpower you need, whether it's standing by to keep the peace, domestic terrorism, enforcing court orders, retribution, threats, corporate espionage, or stealing proprietary property, even kidnapping or child abduction. Feel safe with Pipkin's privatized law enforcement. And if it gets physical, you can rest assured that PDA's dozens of agents can keep the peace and deliver those in question to law enforcement. Hire PDA today for privatized law enforcement. Fully licensed, bonded, and insured, staying always abreast of all the legal changes. The Pipkin Detective Agency. Find them at gopipkin.com. That's gopipkin.com.
Are the continuous rising energy bills crushing you? Want to pay less for your home's electricity and lock in that lower rate into the future? Your family deserves the best. And when it comes to powering your home, there's no better provider than Simply Solar. With Simply Solar, going solar has never been easier. From our expert consultants to our in-house installers and the best financing. No payments for 18 months. Take advantage of the solar tax credit before it's gone. Going with Simply Solar means more money in your pocket for the things that matter. Plus clean and renewable power to light up your home and family. Call now for a free consultation. For our Central Valley listeners, mention this radio ad for $1,000 off your solar system. Net metering ends in California on April 13th. Call Simply Solar at 559-892-1043 now. That's 559-892-1043. Simply Solar, keeping solar simple. 559-892-1043.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
The Ag Center is your one-stop shop connecting ag professionals with quality services and products from a team of industry leaders. Stop by our booth, U54, at the World Ag Expo in Tulare, February 14th through the 16th.
Tired of electric bills and rolling blackouts? Go solar and battery storage American style with Semper Solaris. Visit SemperSolaris.com.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else.
Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Well, through the 3 o'clock hour at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. We're talking about the State of the Union, and we'll talk a little bit more about the GOP response to the State of the Union. The calls come first, and Victor is on the line at 490-5858. Victor, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Well, thank you, sir. A couple of things that really bother me is when he stands up and says to ban all assault weapons. And I 100% agree. every assault weapon should be banned. However, I personally own 3 look-alike, whatever he calls assault weapons, but they've never assaulted anybody. So they're not assault weapons. They're just long guns that look like it. Now, the weapons that he's talking about are the ones that I own as well. Hundreds of thousands of people own that style of a weapon, and there's 0.0001% of all the weapons that are out there that actually assault someone. So by them wanting to ban the assault weapon, well, go ahead and ban the ones that do assault, not the ones that have not and never will.
Well, Victor, I appreciate where you're coming from, and I know that's kind of a cute way of making the point that blaming the tool doesn't solve the problem. But let's boil it down to that. Blaming the tool doesn't solve the problem, and this administration is not serious about solving the problem. This administration is scoring culture war points for scared lefties who think that a big black rifle is the reason that bad things happen in America this year.
Exactly. And again, it's the percentage of assaults that happen with these big black rifles are so small, and you're blaming the entire community of the style, and it's just not a fair deal.
So, Victor, let me ask you this, because I'm also a gun owner, although I have to admit I don't have one of these super cool-looking big black wink-wink assault rifles. I've just got a boring old shotgun and a boring old deer rifle and a couple of handguns. I'm not really a gun guy. I've got them for practical purposes, and the practical purposes are in a pretty narrow lane, if you follow me. I'm not operating under the illusion that that's a tool for anything other than taking life. I like them for target shooting. That's fun, but that's not what they're meant to do. You can target shoot with a paintball gun. You and I are going to go probably our entire lives without ever having to fire a shot in anger, without ever having to draw a weapon and point it at another human being with intent. If you and I are fortunate, I don't know if you're a hunter or not, but there's a chance that you and I will go our entire lives shooting at paper targets, right?
Exactly. I have been a deputy sheriff for 16 years. I've been carrying a concealed firearm for, since 1981. And have I ever used it? No.
No.
Have I ever pulled it? No. However, it's on my side.
Yeah.
If I ever have the choice to protect you or my.
So Victor, you based on this, you sound like exactly the guy that I want owning a gun. You're serious, you're responsible, you're clear-headed about what it is and what the standard is for employing that tool. You and I know that there is a situation that is over-reported, and that is mass shootings, but they do exist, they do happen, they are bad. What can we do? Because taking the tool away isn't going to change that. What do we say to the liberal who's scared of the dirtbag, the idiot, the incel, who lacking a gun would drive his car into a crowd? What do we say to them about finding that guy and stopping that guy from hurting other people?
I think, in my opinion, you have to reopen the death penalty and reopen the crimes against humanity. And when they're gross overt crimes against humanity, then the death penalty, without a question, you get your one chance of appeal. And once you've taken that, then you are subject to the penalty. Give it a reason, a deterrent, because you're not going to stop it.
Oh, Victor, it's way too rational. It's way too rational. I like it. I'm glad you called today, man. Thank you. Be safe on the road.
Thank you. I will. You too.
490-5858, 800-776-5858. There we go. Gun owner, rational, clear-headed adult, recognizes that punishing criminals for committing crime and deterring would-be criminals with the knowledge that the punishment will be swift and absolute. Now, I will admit that I think that the death penalty is less a deterrent than it is an appropriate conclusion for the worst of the worst. Because I don't think that the kind of bad guy who goes out and commits a crime like a mass shooting, I don't think that that person is smart enough or imaginative enough to recognize that when they are caught and when they are convicted, the consequences will come for them. When you look at these guys, when you read their writing, when you look at their manifestos or their social media profiles, you can see very plainly that you're not dealing with an intelligent, adult, thinking person. You've got somebody who's usually got some kind of either indelible grievance or power fantasy, or worst, a combination of the two. And they think that they're going to inflict their will on the world and become infamous. In the case of this knucklehead that went up to Nancy Pelosi's house and beat her husband with a hammer, he thinks he's a patriot. He thinks he's one of the good guys. That guy's head is fully twisted. I'm not saying that it's a better thing that he went and bashed Paul Pelosi with a hammer, but it may be solace in that one person got hurt instead of an entire school. But that's exactly the kind of person that's going out and committing these crimes. You know, go look at all of these idiots. But Joe Biden's not talking about dealing with that guy. He's not talking about dealing with the social, cultural, and economic forces that create that guy and motivate that guy and allow that person to exist in the world and get to a point where they behave that way. Because that's complicated. It's time-consuming. It's also, honestly, a little boring. But our president isn't interested in solving a problem. He is going back to that playbook of saying the thing that he thinks that people want to hear to get the applause line. And remember, he went back to we got a job to do, we got a job to do, we got more to do, we got a job to do. Because this was a campaign speech, and that's why he spent so much time talking about culture war issues like gun control. 490-5858 is the number here, 800-776-5858. So how long did it take when Joe Biden took the stage? Right out of the gate. This was one of the things that we spent not a lot of time, because we knew it would happen, but the speculation. When would the gaffes hit? And what's a real gaffe and what's just getting your bearings in a room full of people? It is a piece of the puzzle, though, because over and over it was said, it won't be what he says, because what he says is a carefully constructed narrative to tell the American people that he's doing fine, that the country is prosperous and safe under his stewardship, and to begin the process of making the case for continuing that stewardship. But it was how he said it. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. You watched it. You listened to it. You watched and listened to the rebuttal. Did we get anything of value for you or me last night? It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Your calls are on the way.
And taking a look at the Wednesday afternoon traffic in East Fresno, North DeWolf, and East Dakota. There's been a collision. No injuries reported there. And on northbound 99 at Belmont Avenue in Fresno at the off-ramp, there has been a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic in for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Right now during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are more than 50% off, like the Leather Vortex Gaming Chair, now just $119.99. Offer ends 2/11 while supplies last. Staples, the working and learning and savings store.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now aboard.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Helen here with Chris Moran with a major solar industry update. So Chris, what makes this update so urgent?
The state of California has released a decision that will cut the savings from a new solar system by 75%. It's called NEM 3.0. Luckily, anyone who already has solar under NEM 2.0 will be locked in under the current benefits. But anyone who goes solar after April will do so under the new program, which honestly isn't great.
So, what should people do?
Well, for anyone listening, if you've been considering solar, now really is the time. Many people will regret not getting their system installed before these changes go into effect. And once April comes, it'll be too late.
And since Solar Negotiators is the only contractor to provide lifetime maintenance and no true-up monitoring, people can make the right choice. Lock in your project now with Solar Negotiators powered by Solar Maintenance Pros, your lifetime energy partner.
Sure, he's been in business for 18 years, but there are still some of you, shame, who have not seen Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Brand new for him, right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. Let's talk. The finest outdoor furniture manufacturer in the country is OWLE. It's been a little hard to get, but now, daily, new deliveries of outdoor furniture from OWLE are winding up at Lou's place. This line is not bargain basement or cheap, no, but for the discerning outdoor type who loves their outdoor furniture as much as their indoor furniture. 2 names, Lou Rodman and OWLE. That's it. And who would have thought Amish furniture would have exploded like it has? This is the part where I mention how much I love my Amish rocking chair. But the Amish are producing furniture for every room in the house for Lou Rodman. Bar stools, indoor and outside. Dining sets from everywhere, including Amish and affordable contemporary pieces for your dining room. There is, in this state, no other store like it. Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium. Open 7 days a week.
The 2023 World Ag Expo is here, and right in the heart of the big show, you'll find Barnes Welding Supply, the Valley's leader in welding and industrial supplies. Locally owned and operated since 1949, stop by Barnes Welding Supply's 9,000 square foot showcase and enter to win daily prizes. Grand prizes include a Miller-Matic 141 and a Lincoln Electric 140 MP MIG welder. Meet factory reps with hands-on demonstrations with Miller Electric, Lincoln Electric, Hypertherm, Makita, DeWalt, and many more. Also featuring some of the latest technology in manufacturing, showcasing a Miller Electric Cobot, a collaborative welding robot, an ArcLight plasma cutting table, and a Protomax CNC water jet. Follow us on Instagram at Barnes Welding Supply. Tag us in your photos while inside our tents and receive free welding gloves. Enjoy special show pricing at all 12 Barnes Welding Supply locations throughout California. Barnes Welding Supply at the World Ag Expo.
2023 is going to be an interesting year as political heavyweights set their sights on the White House. Trump, DeSantis, Pence. And what about President Biden? Will he run again?
These guys, they don't quite get it.
And what about Governor Newsom? He says he's not running, but can we believe him?
In every way, none of this is a surprise.
You'll get the answers right here on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ and streaming at KMJNow.com.
Going up on 4 o'clock. News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Talking about the State of the Union and the Republican response, and we will spend a little bit more time on what Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders had to say about all the stuff Joe Biden said. Right now, though, we got Joe on the phone at 800-776-5858. Joe, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, I haven't had a chance to look at the State of the Union yet. I've been busy with work, but I've been listening to the news and then listening to you talking about some of the comments about that Biden had said about taking all the assault rifles or banning all assault rifles. And, my point, it just aggravates me every time I hear all this, not because I'm a real pro-gun advocate and I'm a big hunter, but I want the opportunity to be able to feed my family. If basically the way the country's going now, we might have to use these rifles to go feed ourselves. And I think just everybody loses sight of what the intention of a rifle is anyway. Also, the point of how many of these killings are with actual assault rifles. I know there was the one big one in L.A. years ago, that standoff with the police, and they were all armed up. And, but most of this is the way I understand it, is handguns and other firearms.
Well, Joe, I think that you've got, there's a level of nuance here, because when a person says assault rifle, I think that what springs to mind in a non-gun owner's head, or even in a intermediate gun owner's head, is an AR-15, the M16 civilian model. That's what they think of. That's what they visualize. And we hear a lot of very scary things about, like, the effect of cavitation on the human body when certain kinds of ammunition are employed. And that sounds very scary and very dark. And I think, Joe, that what you and I have to agree is that a gun is a tool that is made for one purpose, and that purpose is to kill. But that tool exists in the hands of a majority of Americans. There are more guns in this country than there are people. And most of those guns don't go off getting involved in crimes. What we have is not a gun problem. What we have is a human decency problem.
Correct. I agree. And that's where they should be concentrating, their focus and energy and the funds on that. Did they want to outlaw hammers now that this happened to Pelosi? And unfortunately, I'm not trying to minimize any kind of a crime. It's a terrible thing, no matter what it is. But they don't want to take cars when somebody drives a car into a group of people at a parade and so it just rings to me of ulterior motive, and it's just a shame that we have to go down this path over and over again. I think most of us see through this. So.
Oh, Joe, I agree with you. It is a shame, and it is all the more chilling that I honestly don't think that there's ulterior motive. I think they're telling you directly they want to ban guns. Maybe depending upon the person, certain types of gun or certain types of people from owning guns. But they're telling you flat out what they want to do. The problem is, this is the same group of people who doesn't understand the difference between Facebook and Twitter. They don't understand the difference between a deer rifle and a military weapon. They're not saying it because they actually care about the tool. They're saying it because they care about the votes. And there are scared and gullible and ignorant people who will applaud that kind of thing. All you have to do is listen to that noise in the chamber last night. Joe, I appreciate your call, man. It was good to talk to you. I got to take a break here for news, but the phones are open if you want to chime in at 490-5858, or again at toll-free 800-776-5858. And we are talking about the State of the Union. Joe Biden's speech last night and the response from Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Stick around.
missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org, the best car vehicle donation program. Your generosity changes the lives of kids right here in our community with a second chance at a better future. Before you sell or give away that old vehicle in any condition, please donate it to carsforkids.org. Carsforkids.org picks up cars, trucks, motorcycles for free. Plus, you'll get a $50 Visa gift card. It's so easy to donate to carsforkids.org. Please, write off the car, not the kid.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-970-3355. That's 800-970-3355.
This is Christina Musan. Over the last 7 years, Closets by Design has organized 5 of my closets, a garage, a mudroom, and even my wine storage in not 1, but 2 of my homes. I keep going back time and again because they make organization easy. From the initial design appointment to installation, your satisfaction is their priority. And you already know that if you want proof, you can go to my Facebook page and see the quality for yourself. And maybe you've already done that and thought to yourself, I can't afford that. Well, that's not true, especially right now. Until February 25th, mention you heard this ad on KMJ, and you'll get 40% off, plus an additional 15% off, and 18 months interest-free financing. So what better time than to give Closets by Design a call? 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Don't just imagine it. Make your home beautifully organized.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get Allbritton's complete furnace revitalization. Ah, man, this is tough.
Not bad. Maybe a little more on the zation.
Online at allbritain.com.
News Talk, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. A man and woman in custody. They're accused of a fatal shooting last year in Fresno. Police responded to a report of a shooting on Saturday, August 27th on North Cornelia Avenue in the Highway City area of Fresno. When police arrived, they found the body of 20-year-old Monty Jordan in the parking lot. He'd been shot. Homicide detectives received tips on vehicle involved in in the murder. During the investigation, detectives served over 20 search warrants for residential, cell phone, and social media accounts. They also recovered the suspected vehicle used in the murder in the state of Washington. Detectives identified 18-year-old Gerald Turner and his 18-year-old girlfriend, Morella Reed, as the people suspected of killing Jordan. Turner and Reed booked into the Fresno County Jail, charges related to the murder. Two Valley Armenian churches come together to pray for survivors. It follows the massive earthquakes in Turkey.
People are still trying to figure out how to respond to the situation. So we know God knows what's going on, so we're praying.
Putting aside history and coming together in tragedy with thoughts and prayer.
This particular church has been a part of, I believe, a historic reconciliation move between Armenians and Turks. Historically, we're enemies, but we have been meeting and working with Turkish pastors to unite Armenians and Turks.
Many prayed for rescue crews to find those who cannot be seen in the rubble, both in Syria and Turkey.
Gas prices in Fresno continue to rise. AAA reports the average price of a gallon of regular $4.54 today. It's up 5 cents from a week ago and 29 cents from a month ago. National average sits at about $1 lower at $3.43 at $3.45. New study is out about the relationship between the NFL and CTE. Fox's Jared Max reports.
Monday this week, it was announced that the degenerative brain disease, CTE, was found in the brains of 92% of former deceased NFL players. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy detected in 345 of 376 men who played in the NFL, whose brains were donated for research, according to Boston University's CTE Center, which soon will publish its 182nd study on the brain disease associated with repeated hits to the head. Boston University offered contrast in noting that in a study it performed in 2018, the brains of 164 people who did not play in the NFL were studied, and only one was found to have CTE, the brain of a one-time college football player. Jared Max, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon highs running right around normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. But then tomorrow morning, expect patchy fog around the valley. No rain expected, but low pressure moves in this weekend and drops our temps by 10 degrees for a couple of days. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at our Wednesday afternoon traffic, northbound 99 at Belmont Avenue in the Fresno area. There was a collision at the off-ramp, and emergency vehicles have responded. In East Fresno, north of Wolf, in East Dakota, a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chukchansi Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
I just think you're flat wrong.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
406, Philip Teresi, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Phone's open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Last night was the State of the Union address and the Republican rebuttal. How long did it take for President Grandpa to step in it? Let's count, shall we?
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress. By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home.
We aren't counting that. That was just a little bit tongue-tied, right? Still waking up from the nap. There's no way that we're going to call that a gaffe at 34 seconds into the State of the Union.
Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, a handshake. That's nice. Very friendly. It's got to feel pretty good.
Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you.
And a good punchline. Okay, minute 18 so far. One little bit of tongue-tied. And right there, that's forgotten.
And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries. He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest-serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Wait, what did he say?
Leader in the history of the United States Senate,
nope,
Mitch
got that
McConnell.
Right.
Where are you, Mitch?
And a nice moment. McConnell did not stand for that. He took the round of applause sitting.
Chuck Schumer, another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think you. This time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader. About that much.
2 minutes, 20 seconds into the State of the Union, and he forgot who's leading the Senate. Okay, there we go. So we knew that was going to happen. We knew he was going to get tongue-tied. We knew he was going to have little lapses, little moments. Is that indicative of a 25th Amendment grade failure of cognitive resources, or is it a guy who's not used to talking to that room full of people anymore? I mean, he spent 40-plus years in the Senate, but he hasn't done a lot of this. COVID times, this wasn't necessary. It's a lot of pressure for him. I'm not saying that that's an acceptable string of excuses for the chief executive of the federal government of the United States of America, but just from a human standpoint, we can forgive the old guy for being an old guy, right? So what else did he have to say? How about his call to hold social media companies accountable in the State of the Union speech? What exactly does that look like in the mind of the President of the United States? How are we going to hold them accountable exactly?
President Biden taking a direct shot at Big Tech Tuesday, calling for bipartisan support for better industry regulations. He says now's the time to finally hold social media companies accountable for what he calls a, quote, experiment they are running on our children for profit.
It's time to pass bipartisan legislation to stop Big Tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online.
Can we start with TikTok, since it's owned and controlled by the Chinese Communist government? I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to deal with Meta and Twitter and all the rest too, but I'm less worried that somebody is going to try and sell my teenager another pair of Doc Martens, or that somebody is going to try and sell my teenager another cheesy pair of earrings, than I am that the Chinese Communist government is engaged in wholesale data extraction by way of my teenager's phone. If we're going to hold social media companies accountable, let's start with the enemy foreign power that is abusing our free and open society, and then turn our baleful gaze. Because do I agree that there is abuse happening by way of the social media companies? Yes, I do. I've been saying so for a long time. I think that social media is one of the great ills of our era. And I think that revoking Section 230, they clearly are not interested in acting simply as a host for content. They are all curating content. As a matter of fact, at this point, they're under the gun for not curating content hard enough. Remember, Elon Musk was going to come in. He was going to, boy, oh boy, he was Iron Man, baby. He was Tony Stark. He was going to come in and he was going to truly offer wholesale democratized freedom of speech for anybody and everybody who could connect to the internet, while at the same time he was going to kick every pedophile and porno sharing site and bot right off of Twitter. Remember, that was the goal. When Elon Musk was headed to the moon, he was going to fix Twitter. Guess what? Twitter's still got a whole bunch of kiddie porn on it. Twitter hasn't really made anything even resembling a dent in the population of the bots and spammers on Twitter. That's a real problem. That's a real problem that's happening right now. And by the way, not just on Twitter. To be fair to Musk, it seems to be an issue with every social media platform. Now, considering the amount of energy, the amount of outrage that is being spent righteously on the targeting of children, the victimization of children, the grooming of children. Remember, that was last year when groomer started getting thrown around as a casual slur on the internet. If you made somebody mad on Twitter, they'd call you a groomer, because nothing proves that you won an argument like accusing a stranger of messing with kids. Except that there's actual groomers out there. There's actual child rapists out there. There's actual consumers of real child pornography, and they are all over social media. And the social media companies hide behind Section 230 and say, well, we're trying to give people a platform where they can have total freedom of speech. So they've got time to chase down posts about Hunter Biden and his nudes getting on the internet. Because if you go back through Matt Taibbi's Twitter files, go all the way back to day one. A whole bunch of those takedown requests that we saw, that people are legitimately questioning about why Twitter was dumping that story. A whole bunch of those takedown requests were straight up naked pictures of Hunter Biden. And that's why the takedown request was coming in, because it was seen as undignified and illegal to have pictures of the president's son's wedding tackle on display for the world. And remember, we expected them to get in there and do that. The DNC and the Biden campaign, and really any decent person who doesn't want to see the loins of the fruit of Joe Biden's loins, that kind of content needs to be pulled off of Twitter. But there's real bad stuff, real harmful stuff, actually dangerous stuff being circulated on every one of these platforms. It's happening on Parler. It's happening on Truth. It's happening on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, every one of them. And we are not holding these companies accountable because they're waving around the big dollars. Let's start with the foreign nationals that are data harvesting at our kids' expenses. And at the expense of American households and at the expense of American national security. And there is a national security issue in play there. There is. That's part of the reason I'm applauding so hard when you're seeing people like Governor Greg Abbott saying, get that crap off my phone, get it off my system, no TikTok on our networks, period, full stop. Greg Abbott's got it right. And so does every other governor who said the same thing. But after that, to go out and target the social media networks, let's stop pretending that the greatest evil on social media networks is fat shaming. Let's not act like the evil of social media networks is that they took sides in politics. Who cares that they took sides in politics? They got caught. Great. They got publicly spanked over it. Great. Elon Musk wasted $44 billion to go tilt at that windmill. Good for him. I don't care. I don't care about social media. I don't think it's good for people's brains. I don't think that it's good for people's healthy social development. I don't think that it's good for incentivizing the acceleration of the worst instincts and profit pursuit behavior of media, old and new. I don't care about social media. and if revoking Section 230 to get child pornography the hell off of social media is what is necessary, and it ultimately results in the collapse of social media, all the better. It's better for the kids. It's better for society. We've all got that freedom of speech. We can all go and say whatever it is we want to do. Squarespace account is $16 a month, 16. You can build a beautiful website, and it's even better than Twitter Blue, man. $490-5858 is the number here, 800-776-5858. Ernie, I see you there. We will get you on the air here in just a minute. Going to take an update from the KMJ Traffic Center with Ron McCary. I want to know what you think about this State of the Union. Our president got 2 minutes and 22 seconds into it before he started forgetting what it is that people are doing, despite reading off of a teleprompter. It was that kind of night. 490-5858 is the number. It's the afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi, and you're listening to News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
I have a couple of incidents here east in Fresno. That's east of Fresno. Actually, the eastern part of Fresno, north of Wolf in East Dakota. There's been a collision with no injuries. Northbound 99 at the Belmont Avenue off-ramp, there's been a collision and emergency vehicles made it to the scene there. Freeways 41, 180, and 99 are congested at the usual time and in the usual areas. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
If you have an end zone dance, get ready to use it, because Save Mart has amazing deals to help you score huge at your big game party. Select varieties of pizza, soda, or party-sized Frito-Lay chips are buy 2, get 3 free of equal or lesser value, limit 2 offers. Mix and match to feed everyone. And medium avocados from Mexico are just 2 for $1. Download the Save Mart app to see all the weekly deals, plus save even more with Save Smart Rewards. Score savings this week at Save Mart.
Is it new or pre-owned? It's hard to tell when you drive a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. The closest to new you can get. That comes with another surprise, an affordable price. Every certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz gets a 125-point inspection by certified Mercedes-Benz technicians and an unlimited mileage warranty. That's safety and more safety. See how affordable like new can be at Mercedes-Benz of Fresno, Palm and Herndon. See store for details.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now aboard.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile Savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
We couldn't find anyone from 1904 to give us an Electric Laboratories testimonial, but we did find these people.
Again, we're with electric cars, and they are a pioneer in the new generation of cars. Professional, up-to-date equipment.
They're professional, and they are so cordial.
I don't even consider taking my car anyplace else.
Electric Lab, since 1904. On Sierra between Blackstone and 41. Call 448-8300. They do it all.
World Ag Expo is back. See the latest and greatest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. See the top 10 new products, sit in on a seminar, test drive a Toyota truck, watch a livestock demonstration. Admissions $20 at the gate. Or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
It's 4:23 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Continuing to break down the State of the Union and the GOP response. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the youngest governor in the country, laid down a dark vision of America. And I understand that part of the order of the evening is to advance the culture war football at any cost. I don't think that it was useful when President Biden did it. I don't think that it was useful in the GOP response. I think that Governor Sanders had a really fantastic opportunity to sidestep the culture war nonsense, maybe even respond to that head on for what it is, and then to come back around to making a case for Republican and conservative fiscal responsibility. Because going back to Charlie Kirk's commentary on this, the identification that Joe Biden kind of dipped a pinky toe into that populist nationalist vibe, I think he called it going full MAGA. Part of the reason that Joe Biden did that is because Joe Biden's speechwriters are smart enough to know that the dude who's sitting down at the kitchen table to enjoy dinner with his family after working his butt off for 8 to 10 hours, who may or may not even listen to the State of the Union, what's going to catch his ear is not the culture war stuff. What's going to catch his ear is the put dollars back in the pockets of blue-collar workers. Put dollars back in the pockets of the middle class. Stop letting the people who work the hardest carry the entire load for the rest of the country and for the silly and misbegotten spending priorities of a Congress that, regardless of party affiliation, just blows through taxpayer money like a black bear with a kilo of coke outside the Chattahoochee National Forest. That's a real thing. They're making a movie about it. Governor Sanders really doubled down on the culture war stuff. And one of the quotes that jumped out at me here, she said, "Every day we are told that we must partake in their rituals, salute their flags, and worship their false idols, all while big government colludes with big tech to strip away the most American thing there is, your freedom of speech." And then in one of the repetitive phrases that I think may be an indication of strategic messaging in its earliest phase, Huckabee Sanders says, "That's not normal. It's crazy, We're going to hear a lot of that word. It's crazy and it's wrong. I have not ever been forced to go to church by anybody other than my grandma. I have not, in my adult life, been compelled to participate in anybody else's worship. I have also never in my life have been forced to go stand at the sidelines and cheer at a pride parade. I have never been issued a P flag and told that it must fly on the front of my house for the entire month of June. It just hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. And the worship of the false idols, I'm not sure what that is. If the false idols are AOC and Colin Kaepernick, if the false idols are big tech, or if those false idols are ultra progressive, ultra liberal, culture war talking points. I'm not scared of somebody who wants to live their life in a way that is different than the way that I live my life. The vast majority of people that I have met, black, white, brown, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, atheist, they're not worried about what other people are doing in the privacy of their own homes. They aren't worried about what other people are doing out on a street corner. Most of us, if we're working, if we're doing anything productive with our lives, if we're even just enjoying our own company in a peaceful way, we don't have time to worry about what other people are doing. Not like that. But the loudest idiots on Twitter, the wokey wokes who will scold you and scream at you and demand that you kowtow to their social proclivities, they're harmless morons. Where they become dangerous is where their ideology begins to creep into the discourse because politicians think that Twitter matters. And this is where I think Governor Sanders and President Biden have a point of convergence that is really seriously worthy of exploration as a bipartisan effort. Revoke Section 230 of the Communications Privacy and Decency Act. Stop protecting social media companies from the consequences of the content that they host for profit. Stop protecting social media companies from the consequences of making a choice to monetize the worst impulses of humanity. You want to get both parties together? You want to talk about a cultural issue that will advance the cause for the United States of America? Let the pornographers and the trolls go to hell in their own way. Hold the social media companies accountable. Require that they maintain a legal minimum standard in terms of the content on their sites, and no excuses about the unmanageability of it all. If they can find a way to monitor your devices and my devices, our search histories, our location, well enough that they are able to send me advertisements for Columbia Sportswear every time I'd go over to the elbow room to meet a friend. If they can monitor me closely enough to serve me ads for every backpack in existence because I was online buying a new backpack for my kid yesterday. They can narrow it down to such precision. They can show you exclusively ads for the brands that you want that are in your immediate physical vicinity. They can tell you when there's a special in the store that you're visiting right now. But somehow they can't do anything about pictures of people sexually abusing children. Somehow they can't detect when somebody has spent 6 months talking about how somebody needs to go get a hammer and straighten Nancy Pelosi out. Let's not pretend that both sides don't go to social media and try to enlist it for their ends. It's permission marketing. It's gold. And it's poison. But both sides want to blame the other for why that poison works the way that it does. We got to take a break for an update of headlines from the KMJ newsroom. When we get back, more of your calls at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. I'm Philip Teresi on KMJ.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. A man was found dead on railroad tracks Tuesday in central Fresno. Police there say they responded at about 4:30 to a call of a man lying on the bridge next to Jeanne Avenue near Shields Avenue and Van Ness Boulevard. The man pronounced dead at the scene. Officers currently do not have an identity for the man and do not yet know if the train was the cause of death. They're investigating. Several vehicles have been impounded due to an ongoing investigation of illegal sideshows in Fresno. The traffic unit with the Fresno Police Department located 3 more vehicles they say were involved in intersection takeovers. 2 of the cars, a Dodge Ram and a Challenger, were caught on video participating in a sideshow on the Blackstone and Shaw Avenues. Drivers there seen performing burnouts and donuts during an inventory check. A loaded firearm found inside the truck. After further investigation, the gun had been reported stolen. The driver arrested, now facing gun-related charges. All vehicles have been impounded for 30 days. Ohio officials say residents of the town where a train derailment released chemicals into the air can now return to their homes. More from Fox's Gernal Scott.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says the danger posed by any chemical release from the Norfolk Southern derailment last week is past.
The readings are basically similar to what they would have expected prior to the train wreck.
However, some of the chemicals did find a water source. Kirk Kohler of the Ohio EPA says work was done to minimize effects. What was affected, though?
Immediately toxic to fish, but all the information and data to date is it has still been protective for the drinking water.
While some say they noticed an odor in the air, the worst effect reported has been headaches. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Expect patchy fog around the valley tomorrow morning, and looking even further ahead, low pressure moves in this weekend. No rain, but temps drop by 10 degrees for a couple of days. Otherwise, afternoon highs are running normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at afternoon traffic in Porterville area, there's been a crash. Highway 65 West Linda Vista Avenue. There are injuries. Emergency vehicles are en route. And in the Fresno area, northbound 99, Ventura Avenue off-ramp. This actually is in downtown Fresno. There has been a collision with unknown injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Coming up this March 25th at the Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to KMJNow.com for more information.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
All the symptoms, let's defeat it. Test it, treat it, you can beat it. Test it. If you feel sick, test to know if it's COVID. Treat it. Medication is key to slow the virus in your body. Beat it. Recover smoother. You may test negative sooner. California, you know you need it. Test it, treat it, you can beat it.
Yeah. Visit youcanbeatit.org or call 833-422-4255 to ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
For a better you in 2023, get better water. LifeSource is the whole house water system that will help you be a better you. Clean and healthy water is essential to look and feel your best. Unfiltered chlorinated water just doesn't cut it. LifeSource removes the bad stuff and keeps the good stuff. No chlorine showers or baths. Feel great, look great. Get LifeSource water. Call 559-330-1850 for a free consultation or visit lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
This report is sponsored by Discover. We could talk about how complicated other banks make it to redeem credit card rewards. Or we could talk about how with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
You like to talk, so it shouldn't be a problem.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 440 at News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. We spent a lot of time on the State of the Union today, and that's righteous and appropriate. It is a big deal. There are other things happening in the world, though, and one of them is a safety information meeting. I'm sure you've heard it in the top and bottom of the hour news, both with Liz Kern and with Jim Miller. Today, again, for the third time in, 4 business days? Certainly for the third time in a week, Clovis West High School and Fort Washington Elementary School ended up on lockdown because some schmuck called in a hoax shooting threat. There is going to be a safety informational meeting tonight, and they are going to be streaming it on YouTube. So if you are not able to attend in person, which would be understandable on this short notice, whether you're a Clovis Unified parent or not, whether you live in Northeast Fresno or not, I think that you should be watching this. Because Clovis Unified they've got a fantastic reputation, and student safety has been, and I am certain will continue to be at the front of that. They're the only school district in town that has their own police department. Which, by the way, yes, they are actually a fully accredited police department. I know there's a lot of people who go, they're just security guards. Nope. They're cops, real cops. 5:30. They will host it in person at the Clovis West High School multipurpose room. Presentations coming from Clovis Unified staff and local law enforcement. Starts 5:30 p.m. And if you are not able to attend in person, and again, I understand we're talking about less than an hour of notice, you may not be able to be there, even if you are a Westie. That's right, I said it. Go to YouTube and look up Clovis USD, as in Clovis Unified School District. Clovis USD on YouTube. They're going to be live streaming it there. And look, Clovis Unified is doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're making sure, first and foremost, that the kids are safe. They're getting law enforcement involved, and law enforcement is investigating who has done this. There is some complication in tracking down who has done this because of false caller ID generators, possibly some kind of use of a VoIP number. They're going to get the guy who did this. That's going to happen. They're not going to get the guy who did this tonight. But the safety meeting's important. One, because if you're a Clovis parent, you need to see and hear what the school district is doing and has been doing to make sure that your kids are safe. Two, if you're not a Clovis parent, but you've got any stake in any of the schools, by the way, if you pay property taxes, you're a stakeholder. You're gonna want to see this. You're gonna want to understand exactly what a pain in the butt this is, what the loss of productivity is, what the expense to the community is. And if you know, because my gut, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong before. My gut tells me that we're going to find out that this is a local person making these phone calls. It's entirely speculation. I do not know a single thing that you do not know. All of the knowledge that I have comes from local reporting and press releases and informational dispatches from the district and from law enforcement. I have no privileged information. But my speculation is that this is a local person who's making these calls. And that part of the motivation for making these calls is because they're getting a giggle out of seeing all of the trouble it's causing in the press. Because everybody's reporting on it. The first time, holy smokes. News crews down there, people calling in on KMJ. It was a circus. Second time, same thing. A lot of people shaking their heads. What the hell is this world coming to? Today, it really was very much law enforcement's coming out to make sure that the campus is okay. But the kids are back in action in an hour. And I'm telling you about it because I want you to go to this meeting, because I want you to attend it, even if you've just got to do it online. YouTube, look for Clovis USD, Clovis Unified School District, Clovis USD, and check out this presentation, see what it is they're doing. But I think, I speculate, this is a local person who's getting a giggle out of seeing the fuss that's been created. $498-STOP. It's the number for Crime Stoppers. The reward for catching somebody who's causing this much trouble. Look, it's not going. You're not going to pay your college tuition with it. You might get a weekend at Disneyland out of it, so to speak, cash-wise, not literally. 498-STOP. You can be totally anonymous. You don't have to give your information, and collecting the reward remains totally anonymous. If you know who this person is, if your kids are talking about it, if you've got some clue about where the cops should be looking, it is time to drop a dime on this fool. Because they need to be held accountable. Fortunately, nobody's been hurt. And at this point, I think that the reaction of the kids is probably an eye roll and resentment. It's not going to be the same, that same terror that I think legitimately caught some of these kids on Friday. You're hurting these kids. You're traumatizing these kids. You are doing harm to children. Additionally, there is a tremendous waste of taxpayer resources. Every time the cops have to come running out and deal with this, we're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars that are being wasted, as well as other losses that are occurring, other crimes that are occurring, other criminals that go unaddressed because the cops have to come and sweep the campus. If you know who this is, 498-STOP, call them in, report it. If you think you know who this is, call and explain why you think that. And if you're a kid out there and you're hearing this and you don't want to tell mom and dad, you're scared you're going to get into trouble because it's some idiot from gym class, 498-STOP. You actually spell it with the numbers on the phone. See, this is how we used to text. You had to tap each number a certain number of times to get the letter. So in this case, 498-STOP, 7807. That's STOP. 7807. 498-STOP. Let them know what you know. Let them know why you think you know something. And if it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. There's no harm done. They pursued the lead. They took a look. They'll determine whether or not it's valid. Let's get this idiot. And if you want to attend this meeting, again, 5:30 tonight, Clovis West High School, multipurpose room, Clovis Unified staff and local law enforcement conducting the meeting, and the live stream available for you on YouTube at Clovis USD.
And checking traffic, Porterville area. This is Highway 65 at West Linda Vista Avenue. There's been a collision. Emergency vehicles have been called to the scene. Northbound 99 at the Ventura Avenue off-ramp. There has been a collision. Unknown injuries there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Hey there, it's Greg Lane. Do you realize that Roger Vogt has been serving the Central Valley for 40 plus years? They've created valuable relationships with the customers and is your dealership alternative for your Sprinter van services, repairs, and maintenance. And they are a full-service Sprinter facility and offer basic maintenance services and complete fluid exchanges. Other services are brakes, suspension, electrical, DX and CK engine lamp repairs, AC repairs, and complete emission DX repairs. And they've got 16 service bays, so it makes it really easy to get your Sprinter van service repaired quickly, and a courtesy shuttle always available. Their ASC master level technicians are always up to date in the latest state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment to keep your Sprinter van on the move. If you need regular maintenance service or repairs of any type, call Rose Libano or John Herreras at 559-635-3288 and they'll get the job done for you. Online at performanceautoandair.com to schedule your appointment. Roger Vogt's Performance Auto Diesel and Air, one of the best things about living in Visalia.
World Ag Expo is back. See the latest and greatest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. See the top 10 new products, sit in on a seminar, test drive a Toyota truck, watch a livestock demonstration. Admissions $20 at the gate, or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
If you have an end zone dance, get ready to use it, because Save Mart has amazing deals to help you score huge at your big game party. Select varieties of pizza, soda, or party-sized Frito-Lay chips are buy two, get three free of equal or lesser value, limit 2 offers. Mix and match to feed everyone. And medium avocados from Mexico are just 2 for $1. Download the Save Mart app to see all the weekly deals, plus save even more with Save Smart Rewards. Score savings this week at Save Mart.
February may be the shortest month, but as they say, big things come in small packages. Because it's a promotion frenzy this February at the Tachi Palace. Over $160,000 in cash and prizes. Over 2,500 promotion winners. See TachiPalace.com or the Premier Club for complete promotion details. It's a promotion frenzy! All packed into the shortest month at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort. This is 40.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
Hi, I'm Selena Janae, Events Manager for the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in celebrating the 2023 Valley Business Awards presented by Central Valley Community Bank on Wednesday, February 22nd at the historic Warner's Theater. We are thrilled to honor Sally Caglia as the 2023 Leon S. Peters Award recipient. Also being recognized, Jeffrey Scott Agency, Fresno Street Eats, Clark Bros Inc., and Lavrall LLC. Tickets are on sale now at fresnochamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Awards and honors are nice, but keeping you informed and entertained is what keeps us coming to work every day. This is KMJ.
Pulling up on 5 o'clock at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Listen online at KMJnow.com. Earlier today, Ray Appleton spoke with Fresno County District Attorney Lisa Smitkamp. Also had Brodsky and Masson talking with David Valadeo. Guess what they were talking about, guys? Yeah. We're going to revisit that conversation Brodsky and Masson had with David Valadeo, I think in the 5 o'clock hour. If we have time, we'll get to Appleton's talk with Lisa Smitkamp, District Attorney. If not, you'll be able to get the podcast of that conversation. Actually, you should be able to get it now at KMJnow.com. You can subscribe to the Ray Appleton Show with Apple Podcasts. I believe he's also on Spotify. And a few of the other better podcast distribution platforms. But certainly go to KMJnow.com, hit that podcast tab, and not only will you find Ray's conversation with Lisa Smitkamp, but you'll find all kinds of great content from the rest of the KMJ team. So, speechwriters weighing in, grading both the content and the delivery of the State of the Union. Nobody failed him. Can you believe that? Nobody failed him. But otherwise, grading ran the gamut from a sterling A to a near-failing D. Fox News recaps that the State of the Union focused on the Biden administration's economic plans, touting his infrastructure bill plus job growth, which he massively inflated his accomplishment on both of those. Biden also claimed to want to restore unity and work with Congress in a bipartisan manner. However, Republicans understandably took issue with parts of the speech, including the claim that Republicans were aiming to cut Medicare and Social Security programs. Hanging over the speech, the Chinese spy balloon. It's kind of funny, right? No, not really. Okay. According to professional speechwriters, Biden made a good faith effort at promoting bipartisanship, but he did not confront the China threat as aggressively as he should have. Most of the folks in the room agreed that the speech is a test run for his expected 2024 presidential announcement, but everybody also seemed to agree that it was sluggish and boring at points. David Weilzoll is the former chief speechwriter to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. He is also the president of the ghostwriting firm 7th Floor Strategies. He gave Biden a D. He said State of the Union speeches are almost always boring, but hardly ever has a president said less in more than an hour of speaking than Joe Biden did tonight. While packed with a kitchen sink list of so-called accomplishments that may sell politically, this sleepy address lacked any memorable lines or displays of political courage. Well, that sums it up, doesn't it? David Litt, a senior speechwriter for former President Obama, says that Biden deserved an A on the speech. He said, I doubt the MAGA-eist politicians, many of whom watched from home after losing in the midterms, will find much to like about the speech, but moderate and independent voters were the ones who delivered big wins for Democrats in November, and this State of the Union was for them. We have an update of headlines on the way with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom. Ron McCary will give you another snapshot of your drive home. And we'll check in with Broski Musan and their conversation with David Valadeo in the fourth hour of the Wednesday installment of Your Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Don't move.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Is your company looking to increase exposure in the agricultural industry? What about driving more sales and expanding strategic partnerships? Look no further. The Ag Center is California's #1 resource in connecting ag professionals. What does it mean to be an affiliate or vendor of the Ag Center? We serve as a conduit, connecting companies to farmers, growers, and other ag service companies on our progressive platform. Learn more about the Ag Center today at www.theagcenter.com.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
Is it socially incorrect to say the F word in public? Some people think so. Well, not at Morris Levin & Son. As a matter of fact, they say the F word every day. Truth is, they're absolute experts in the F word and everything to go with, the F word. Firearms. Morris Levin & Son is the place to shop for firearms and accessories from brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, Ruger, Glock, and Kimber. Morris Levin & Son has a knowledgeable staff with a gunsmith and a full-service custom shop right on the premises. Need a firearm private party transfer? Morris Levin & Son can handle that too. When it comes to the F word, firearms, and all the accessories to go with, come to Morris Levin & Son. Since 1934, Morris Levin & Son, Tulare's hometown hardware store and your place to shop for paint, plumbing, power tools, and firearms.
We've got what you need to get the job done. Morris Levin & Son.
1816 South K Street, open 7 days a week.
Join the ag community at World Ag Expo to see the latest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. Wear comfortable shoes to see all 2.6 million square feet of exhibit space. Admissions $20 at the gate, or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's happening. Another phone call comes in threatening Clovis Unified students, similar to the calls received Friday and Monday. The lockdown was lifted shortly afterwards. Here's KMJ's Liz Kern with more.
The call came in around 11:30 in the morning, threatening the safety of students and staff at Clovis West. Nearby Fort Washington Elementary School also began a shelter in place. Clovis Unified says they're working with law enforcement to identify the source of the 3 phone calls in the past 4 days. Police say someone's using a smartphone app that generates a fake, untraceable phone number. Still, the threats need to be taken seriously. Officers searched the campus and remained present there the rest of the day. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
People living in Fresno County's Yokuts Valley, or what used to be Squaw Valley, want their sign back. The Welcome to Squaw Valley wooden sign sawed off by a county worker yesterday. The Board of Geographic voting to get rid of names that include Squaw because it was considered a racial slur against Native American women. People living in the city also say other signs have been disappearing in the area. Fresno City's Women's Commission giving away scholarships to female scholars. City officials said the scholarships are $500 each. 17 scholarships given away to graduating seniors, students enrolled in two-year colleges, students obtaining a bachelor's degree, and for students aiming for a post-bachelor's graduate degree. The application deadline comes up next Wednesday. Farmers across the country feeling a little more upbeat to start off the new year. KMJ Ag Director Don York reports.
The Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer Index rose again in January to a reading of 130. That's 4 points above the 2022 year-end index value. The January survey results also pushed the index 34% above its 2022 low point, which was recorded last June. The barometer's modest rise in January is mainly linked to better expectations for the future. Of the 400 ag producers taking part in the survey, 22% also expect to have a larger farm operating loan compared to 2022, which was down somewhat from last January. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Expect patchy fog around the valley tomorrow morning, and looking even further ahead, low pressure moves in this weekend. No rain, but temps drop by 10 degrees for a couple of days. Otherwise, afternoon highs are running normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in the Madera area, Elmwood Road at Avenue 21. There's been a hit and run with no injuries. In the Porterville area at Highway 65 and West Linda Vista Avenue, there was a collision earlier. Emergency vehicles reported to the scene. And traffic south of downtown Fresno on northbound 99. This is south of Ventura, had slowed down almost to a stop. It's now beginning to move again as the cleanup goes on after a collision on the Ventura Avenue off-ramp. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
It's new, it's huge, and he's there 7 days a week. Lou Rodman's Patio Bar Stool and Amish Emporium. Where? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. There is nothing like this.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
505 News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to hour number 4 of the Wednesday installment of Your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here remain 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you'll find the show at Drive KMJ, and you can watch us streaming live. Watch us, that's right, watch the radio. It's exactly as exciting as you think it would be. On YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly's back in the saddle and stands by to screen your calls this afternoon. Oh, if you're looking for fight tickets, you know Jose Ramirez is coming back. Valley's champ is going to battle Richard Kami at the Save Mart Center on March 25th. Ray's got your tickets, and there is a very strong possibility that either tomorrow or Friday, Ray may be giving away not one but 2 pairs of tickets to the big fight on March 25th. If you want to know more about the event, head to KMJNow.com. That'll get you linked up to Save Mart Center. Buy your tickets, should you be so inclined. We've been talking about the State of the Union today. It is a big deal. It does matter. It is the president's vision for the future of his administration and consequentially the executive branch of the federal government for the next 2 years. It has been wall-to-wall coverage, even on the infotainment networks. Breaks here and there to talk about what's happening in Turkey. A couple of diversions on the conservative networks to talk about the Chinese spy balloon. But it's pretty much been all State of the Union all day. Earlier today, Valley Congressman David Valadao joined the Broski and Masson program to talk about what he saw while the State of the Union unfolded last night. And I wanted to revisit that because I think Valadao, all things considered, has kind of an interesting spot in this, being a Republican in an otherwise Democrat-leaning district, and that's how it went.
We've got Congressman David Valadao to help us wade through this. Congressman, thank you for joining us this morning.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Hey, before we ask you any questions, we just want to play the audio again for our audience and for you of this Social Security Medicare exchange that happened, and we'll get your reaction if that's okay.
Yes.
Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks.
Fireworks last night during the speech, Congressman Valadao, a very vocal GOP. I found the speaker to be pretty expressive as well, just in his shaking of the head and, mouthing in some instances not true. But that moment, that first moment when it came to Medicare and Social Security, was that a spontaneous moment, or had you as a group talked about, if this is brought up, we're not going to stand for this?
It was absolutely spontaneous. Before the State of the Union, every meeting that we had, the conversation was, guys, let's be respectful. Let's not have any outbursts. There was a few reporters talking to us off the floor, like, do you expect any sort of, like, I don't know if you remember that Joe Wilson story from
yes.
Called, You Lied. Like, we kind of joked a little bit about that. We're like, all right, let's not have any of those moments ever. But that one was just so egregious. I mean, he knew what he was doing there, and people just weren't going to let it slide. And I'm usually a pretty calm person, but I was angry too. It was just inappropriate. It was wrong. He knows that it wasn't appropriate for him to do that. And in my opinion, that was a turning point of the night. I mean, there's always stuff that a president says that we agree and disagree with, but at that point it went downhill, and I think that was beneath the seat of the office.
Did you take part?
Not as loudly as others, but obviously I was unhappy, and as many, I think pretty much everyone said that is not true. But some that were a lot more vocal than others.
Well, that seemed to open the floodgates. It's like the toothpaste is out of the tube. Now here we go. And the other comments, there was other interchange. There was other reaction from the Republicans. So have we changed the way these speeches will be given in the future, do you think?
I hope not. I mean, that's the thing about these is it's the opportunity for the president to make his case to the American people with everyone in Congress and the cabinet and all the different folks in one spot. I don't think that's the way for us to go, is where we're in the room screaming at each other. But,
well, for a lot of us like it.
I have to say, I enjoyed the real-time problem solving taking place. In that moment, especially when it came to Medicare and Social Security, we saw him say, well, it's not all of you, it's some of you. Well, it's one of you. It's, whoa, wait, I'm all about conversion. Now I've converted you. You agree with me now. And it was a real-time, I'm going to be positive in my saying of this, real-time problem solving.
See, and I disagree with you on this, because there was no problem to be solved there. It was one person that proposed that idea. We all said this is a bad idea, and now he's trying to make it sound like he's got credit now for solving the problem. That did not happen.
Well, that's true. You bring up a really good point there.
Well, the thing is, On their side, they are acting like this was a great moment. The chief of staff for President Biden said this will go down in history as one of the great moments in State of the Union speeches. They think it was great for him. Do you have, was it great for anybody?
It wasn't great for anyone. And the reality is we've got a divided government, as we all know, Republican House, Democrat Senate, Democrat White House. But we have to work together. And we went into that State of the Union expecting to have things we disagreed with, but openly talking amongst ourselves on the Republican side, hey, let's be respectful, let's look for those opportunities. And even last week when Speaker McCarthy went into the White House to talk to him about this debt ceiling, to accuse the Speaker of coming in there with holding the government hostage. No one is trying to hold anything hostage. We're trying to get to some solutions to get our government back in order. I mean, it's not like we're waiting for the last minute, dark of night types of vote where everyone at home's like, hey, guess what? Overnight, we passed another $1 trillion expenditure. No, we've got 4 or 5 months. Let's have these conversations. And he's already trying to paint it as if we're trying to destroy the government or hold the government hostage. And that is not something that helps us work together. That does not build any trust in the relationship. When you're out there saying things that aren't true, trying to accuse us of things, and then acting like we're supposed to work together to solve America's problems is not appropriate. And so, yeah, it made a lot of us very angry. But at the end of the day, we have to come together because we have to pass something that the Senate will pass under Schumer, and it has to be signed by this president. And that's the only way we'll move forward. So we have to get past this. We have to grow up. We have to act like adults. And sometimes we got to swallow our pride a little bit. And I think that's going to be something he's going to have to do as well.
Now, another moment, and we're talking with Congressman David Valadao about the State of the Union last night. Another moment that stood out to John and I had to do with oil. And it was a different kind of reaction, not yelling, but laughing. And I know that you took a owner and founder of an independent oil company with you as your guest last night. And I'll play the audio and then kind of fill us in on what you and your guest thought.
Production. And when I talked to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going to need it. Production.
I mean, now see, instead of yelling and screaming, that was a nice laughing moment where we all got the message.
Well, and that's the problem is it's like he has no understanding of any sort of process in making investments. So Chad Hathaway was my guest. He's a Fresno State grad, but a Bakersfield resident, owns a small company with about 20-some employees. And I brought him on purpose because he was a small oil operator to remind America that we've got independent guys, not just the big Chevrons and the Shells and all the other ones. But his comment was pretty quick. He said, for me to make the investment and put all that infrastructure in the ground, I need it to produce for at least 30 years to get my money back. And we don't believe this president is going to, if this administration continues down this direction, we don't know if we've got another 10, 15 years of the ability to produce energy. I mean, they're trying to shut people down as quickly as possible. And you've got Newsom already talking about, in the next 7 years, ending all combustion engine vehicles in California. But there's also the other side of this where we know for a fact there's probably about 4,000 permits sitting on his desk that he won't approve. So you've got people willing to make the investment that they won't approve, and then you've got the other side where there's people that are afraid to make that investment because they don't think that they're going to be able to stay in business long enough to recoup their money.
So when the entire Republican Party laughs together when he says 10 years, are they all laughing because they realize how ridiculous it is to think we're going to get rid of this in 10 years?
Yes, that and the fact that, I mean, as you well know, oil is not just what we run our vehicles on. It's pretty much in every aspect of our lives, in our phones, in our clothing, in our computers. I mean, there's some petroleum-based product in everything we do. So the idea that we're just going to get rid of it in 10 years is idiotic. But this administration and Newsom and his administration have been a disaster for these guys. And it's just frustrating because they want to produce, they want to be able to make those investments, they want to be able to grow their business, they want to put people to work. And I don't know if you followed in Kern County, but in Kern County, they just raised all of their state sales tax to make up for the lack of revenue coming in because of the slowdown in production. They're slowing down approving permits, so you've got less people going to work, you've got less oil being produced. And so there's less revenue to pay for the sheriffs, pay for schools, pay for hospitals. And so they're trying to make that up. And sadly, the only option they had was raising sales tax, which we all know is not helpful for the economy. It's not helpful for the people that I represent because they're already struggling to make ends meet.
Now, we've asked you some specific questions. Is there anything you just want to say about last night?
So I got asked by a reporter as I was walking off. She texted me and said, "Hey, what's your reaction?" And it was one word: divisive. And that's the only word I think I could use to describe what happened last night. It was just divisive and not helpful.
Because Christina and I were talking, we thought we detected a little bit of a different Joe there. A little bit like he's trying to maybe go back to the candidate Joe. Remember, he was portrayed as this moderate guy, the guy who reached across the aisle, he can make deals. He's not Bernie. And then he became elected, and he became Bernie. And he's been Bernie for 2 years. He probably got stuff passed that Bernie Sanders never could have got passed. Do you detect any kind of change, or do you think this is the same old Joe?
I think same old Joe. I think he's locked into his position. He's probably playing it off with some of his words. But as far as him personally, I mean, there's been stories coming out of the White House where they've got their list of 18 people they're going to target. And I mean, it's politics. Sadly, it's the game this guy wants to play. But sadly, the people who are going to pay are the American people. It's because they're not focused on what's right for the country.
You know, David, yesterday on our show, John and I were talking about how the State of the Union has become more of a political campaign speech than a State of the Union speech. Last night, we learned that the slogan for his campaign is going to be, "Let's finish the job." He said it multiple times during the speech. And we posed the question yesterday, should we even have a State of the Union anymore if this is the way it's going to be? What's your answer to that question?
I still think we should do State of the Unions. I don't believe we should politicize them like they do. I mean, every president does. And I just thought it was interesting last night that he brought up George W. Bush and how he got some things done and worked across the aisle. But what these people have to remember now, these presidents have to remember now, is George W. and people before him never spoke like that, never treated people like what we saw last night. I mean, to have a president of the United States on TV being watched around the world. Yes, I was getting text messages from relatives around the world talking about accusing us of saying things that we'd never said or supporting things that we never supported. Is just a sad deal. And we can't stop the process of keeping the American people informed because of one or two bad actors.
Well, you know, that's why I liked what happened last night, because I thought he's got to be called out. You can't just wait for the media to do it. You guys did it on the spot, and for me, I liked it. I understand why you don't. You want any final words on this? I know you got to go.
Yeah, and I don't want to disagree with on that one, because for this situation, I agree with you. Yes, I just hope we're not put in that type of situation again, because it's not what the American people need to see.
Understood. Thank you so much, Congressman David Valadao, for your time this morning.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right.
That was Broskin Mason's conversation with Congressman Valadao about the State of the Union speech. If you missed any part of that and you'd like to hear more, get the Broskin Mason podcast online at KMJNow.com.
And there's lots of congestion in the Fresno area on the northbound 99. And this is in the downtown area. And the congestion on the 41 is beginning to thin out. In Madera, Elmwood Road and Avenue 21, hit and run, no injuries. And in the Porterville area, Highway 65, West Linda Vista Avenue, cleanup going on after a collision there caused injuries. Emergency vehicles went to the scene. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Turn to the experts with Carrier.
The following takes place in the warehouse at All Britain Heating and Air.
Okay, guys, balance it on top. Careful.
Eddie?
Oh, hey, Andrea.
Hey, aren't you stacking those heaters up kind of high?
I know, but look,
we're out of room in here for all these heaters.
Yeah, you're stacking them like Dr. Seuss.
We had to pre-order a lot of these last year during the COVID delays.
Right, then all the orders came in, but at the same time.
What are we gonna do?
Well, I guess we'll give away some heaters.
Announcing the free brewery furnace giveaway at Albritton.
Free brewery?
Sure, our slow season is the very best time to let Albritton replace your old AC unit with a powerful, modern, energy-efficient system. And your new heater is free of charge.
Free brewery!
Because I need to keep my team busy and happy, you get our lowest prices of the year.
Plus, we can install your new system right away.
Your comfort instantly goes up.
While your energy bills go down.
The free brewery furnace giveaway is on, only at Albritton. Online at ALLBRITTEN.
Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength of the issuing insurer.
With proposed new taxes, market volatility, inflation, and rising healthcare costs, how secure is your retirement? Now you can help safeguard your retirement. A 401k law that unlocks an ingenious strategy could protect your retirement funds from inflation and a stock market downturn, while boosting your retirement income as much as 40%. It's all laid out in a new book, Guarantee Your Retirement, from JDM Financial, and it's yours free. This insightful guide can be a roadmap to using annuities so you can retire with more confidence, and includes the top 7 strategies for safely navigating the threat of inflation and market volatility. Don't risk losing some of what you've spent a lifetime earning or having to downsize your retirement. For your free copy of Guarantee Your Retirement by JDM Financial, call now. Call 800-820-3776. That's 800-820-3776. 800-820-3776.
Join the ag community at World Ag Expo to see the latest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. Wear comfortable shoes to see all 2.6 million square feet of exhibit space. Admissions $20 at the gate, or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Valentine's Day is approaching. Has the shopping been handled? You can't go wrong with the right gift card. Hair, nails, massage. It's the gift of beauty and self-confidence, all available in one stop at Fig Garden Village, where you'll find the spa, the medical spa, and Hungry Hair Salon. Whether it's your wife, mom, or daughter, be the hero with a gift card. Good at all 3 locations for any products or services. Stop in today at Shaw and Palm on the east side of Fig Garden Village, or visit the spa at fgv.com.
524. We're not doing that again. 524 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. It's News Talk 580 at 105.9 KMJ. Phones open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Whatever you think about the State of the Union, love to get your take. Mediaite, with their own spin on things, they're reporting that 72% approved of Joe Biden's speech, including 43% of Republicans. I have no idea what cellar they conducted this in. Well, here we go. It's a CNN poll, so that ought to tell you a little bit about the sanctity of the methodology. They say one facet of the speech has emerged as the dominant theme of the coverage. At one point during the speech, Biden brought up the Mike Lee Social Security sunset plan, which resulted in that back and forth between the president and all the Republicans from the House of Representatives physically present, bellowing liar at him. And still, CNN says 72% of Americans who watched President Biden's State of the Union had a positive reaction to the speech. That, according to this CNN poll conducted by SSRS, with a smaller 34% reacting very positively. The pattern of broad but tempered enthusiasm, similar to the reception for Biden's speech last year, the 2022 State of the Union, 71% of speech watchers reacted positively, 41% saying their reaction was very positive. So that very positive has faded off here. Presidential addresses tend to attract generally friendly audiences. The pool of people who watched Biden speak was about 8 percentage points more Democratic than the general public, marking a less heavily partisan audience than Biden has faced the past couple of years, or that President Trump saw during his time in office. CNN also notes that the results are unremarkable and fall into line with past State of the Union polls. But Biden's audience was less heavily partisan than others of the recent past. Another piece of good news per CNN for Biden: the percentage of viewers who said policies Biden has proposed will move the country in the right direction jumped 19 points from before the speech to after the speech, 52% to 71%. Among independents, it jumped 26 points, 40% to 66%. Do those numbers surprise you? Do they worry you when you hear that? Do you scratch your head and wonder if your countrymen are losing their minds, or do you wonder if just CNN's putting the stank on the poll that they're releasing? But I got to go back to what Charlie Kirk said. I think that Biden has figured out that a little bit of populist, a little bit of nationalist language, even if you don't feel it in your heart, gets positive reaction. People want to hear that it's okay to be an American. People want to hear that it's okay to have pride in this country. And people want to hear that somebody somewhere in some small way gives a damn about the working class. And if he makes that his platform, it's funny because Charlie Kirk wasn't the only one who said it. I saw the dark Brandon Rising crap floating around again. And Fox News, I think it was Jesse Waters who had Biden photoshopped into a MAGA hat. Is that an effort to take pride in America and make it a partisan issue? Is it a recognition that because of the woke scolds on the progressive left, simply loving this country and the promise that it continues to offer, despite the hysterics in academia saying otherwise, then it's of course it's going to be popular to say that America is the greatest country on earth. Of course it's going to be popular to say that the people who make America work need to be thought of when planning for the future of America. And I don't even know that that's populist or nationalist in the way that is intended by the people invoking those turns of phrase. We live in a great country. It was built by great men and great women. We've made some horrible mistakes in our pursuit of that more perfect union. But we continue on that path to something more perfect every day. More opportunity, more equality. Those are the things that make America great. Not identity politics, not culture wars, not people bitching at each other about who they marry or what they smoke or where they spend their Sunday mornings. And so, of course, it scored well. Of course, people walked away from that part of the speech going, yep, nope, America's pretty great. Because America is great, and America is going to survive. We've just got to stop letting politicians tell us that we all hate each other, because that's the other piece here. And it's something that I took from both Biden's speech and, frankly, from Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders' rebuttal. The politics of division is alive and well, and both of the parties depend on it, I think mainly for fundraising. Last call for your calls on this. If you want to chime in, do it now. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Here's Jim Miller with the news.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Clovis West High School and Fort Washington Elementary School have had 3 separate incidents of threats and lockdowns over the past week. Superintendent Dr. Emir O'Brien said Fresno Police believes the threats swatting or prank calls to law enforcement. The well-orchestrated responses to these false threats are exactly what he says they practice and plan for every day, according to O'Brien. For the 3rd time, Clovis West High School received threatening phone call today, similar to the ones Friday and Monday, causing both Clovis West High School and Fort Washington Elementary to go into a lockdown at about 11:30 this morning. The shelter-in-place order was lifted shortly after, which schools returned to normal operations. Clovis West locked down again due to reported threat. To provide more information about the school's safety, Clovis Unified School District is hosting an informal meeting this afternoon. Members of law enforcement community will be present. U.S. says the Chinese spy balloon is part of a large program targeting multiple continents. Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has more.
We were briefed by Brigadier General Pat Ryder. We're now learning more about the scale of this Chinese balloon surveillance program, which U.S. intelligence and the Pentagon have been observing, we now know, for several years. General Ryder says it wasn't until recently, under the Biden administration, that they were able to look back and realize that the 4 previous times, 3 during the Trump administration, all near sensitive installations were in fact these Chinese surveillance balloons. Not all of them were the same size or had the same payload. When asked again why NORAD did not shoot the balloon down as it crossed over Alaska, one U.S. official told me sometimes she liked to watch a thief to learn more about the thief's capabilities and patterns before making an arrest.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Expect patchy fog around the valley tomorrow morning, and looking even further ahead, low pressure moves in this weekend. No rain, but temps drop by 10 degrees for a couple of days. Otherwise, afternoon highs are running normal with plenty of sunshine to go around. Low 60s across the Central Valley, 40s in the higher elevations. Overnight lows are in the upper 30s. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And looking at traffic, cleanup continues in Porterville after an injury collision at Highway 65 and West Linda Vista Avenue. In Madera, cleanup continues at Elmwood Road and Avenue 21 after a hit and run with no injuries. Armstrong Avenue from East Floridora Avenue to Mill Ditch in East Fresno is currently closed for street improvements and home development in the area. The improvements have a reopening date tentatively scheduled for March 10th, 2023. That, of course, is next month. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help in the bedroom. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
Hi, I'm Selena Janae, Events Manager for the Fresno Chamber
of Commerce. Please join me in celebrating the 2023 Valley Business Awards presented by Central Valley Community Bank on Wednesday, February 22nd at the historic Warner's Theater. We are thrilled to honor Sally Caglia as the 2023 Leon S. Peters Award recipient. Also being recognized, Jeffrey Scott Agency, Fresno Street Eats, Clark Bros Inc., and Lavrall LLC. Tickets are on sale now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
This is Christina Musan. Over the last 7 years, Closets by Design has organized 5 of my closets, a garage, a mudroom, and even my wine storage in not 1, but 2 of my homes. I keep going back time and again because they make organization easy. From the initial design appointment to installation, your satisfaction is their priority. And you already know that if you want proof, you can go to my Facebook page and see the quality for yourself. And maybe you've already done that and thought to yourself, I can't afford that. Well, that's not true, especially right now. Until February 25th, mention you heard this ad on KMJ, and you'll get 40% off, plus an additional 15% off, and 18 months interest-free financing. So what better time than to give Closets by Design a call? 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Don't just imagine it. Make your home beautifully organized.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft sandy soils of the west, the clay and cobble of the east, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Worldwide, find us at KMJNow.com. If you missed the conversation between Broski and Musan and David Valadeo, I'll turn that down just a little bit. If you missed the conversation between Broski and Musan and David Valadeo that we revisited earlier this hour, you can get that in the podcast section again, KMJNow.com. 490-5858 is the number. And getting your reactions to State of the Union. If you want to get in on this now. John, welcome to KMJ. Hello.
Hey, good afternoon. You touched a little bit of it, Philip, just before the commercial break. That first 30 minutes of Biden's speech, I was kind of paying attention to it.
Sure.
He mentioned a populist movement. That reminded me of several Trump speeches. He mentioned bringing manufacturing back from China. Where did we hear that before? He mentioned the forgotten men and women in the middle of the country. Where have we heard that before? He mentioned let's make things in America again. Wow, all of that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, it's like a paint by numbers, right? I mean, honest to God, that's what the president's supposed to say at the State of the Union. We need to remember the forgotten Americans. We need to honor and respect our veterans. We need to get our police the help that they need in order to do the job that we actually want them to do. We need to look out for and protect the middle class. We need to end division, and we need to make sure that the tax system's fair. They all say it. It's all the same crap over and over because that's what you're supposed to say. And what do you finish with, Jim? What are the magic words? What is the State of the Union?
Well, his policies don't go along with what he was saying. That's the problem.
Neither of them do. Honest, Jim, you're absolutely right. Excuse me, John, forgive me, dude. John, you're absolutely right. The problem is neither party ever actually does the stuff that they say in these speeches. That they say it because that's what you're supposed to say, and then they don't do it. Otherwise, we'd have border security. We'd have a working immigration system. We'd have a tax system that treats people fairly and reasonably and actually equitably. But neither party does what they say they're going to do.
Well, that speech last night, the first 30 minutes of it, before he started MFing Republicans, that just almost sounded like he was verbatim on several of Trump's speeches.
Amen. He absolutely was. Joe Biden's speechwriters cherry-picked Donald Trump's greatest hits because Donald Trump's greatest hits, they test so well when you put them in front of normal blue-collar Americans.
All right, thanks, Phil. Good show.
John, I appreciate you listening, my friend. You're absolutely right. It is remix and repeat. Joe Biden has figured out by watching where Donald Trump has had success what he can borrow from that to make himself sound like a blue-collar hero. Joe Biden spent 40 years in the Senate. 40. Joe Biden was in the Senate longer than I have been alive. He has had ample opportunity to protect and defend and look out for the best interests of working Americans. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about anything but holding on to as much power as he possibly can in the final years of his life. Jay, welcome to KMJ.
Hey, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's all lip service. Say what you want to say to get the votes behind you. I think it would say he plugging himself for a second term. That's all he's doing. And common sense, somebody used the word common sense before. I was taught that there are levels to common sense, but I still use the word common sense. People that are in power keep putting laws in place to turn the rest of us law-abiding citizens into sheep, and it is so tiring. All these people that back Democratic plays, they resemble sheep. I grew up in a ghetto, and it's a Democratic Party. I have never seen a Democratic Party look like a Republican neighborhood. Never.
No.
And Maxine Waters, she makes a ton of money, and she doesn't even live in the hood. She may have come from the hood, but she does not live in the hood, and she has a lot of money. If we as voters find out how to make these people put their money where their mouth is, because let's be honest, don't the politicians work for the voters and the taxpayers? Last time I checked.
Yeah, they do. But the problem is, Jay, the voters don't hold them accountable when they don't do the job.
Man, and it's beyond tiring. It is beyond tiring. I think about running. I would not be a politician. We need help, and it's a broken record that we need help.
Yeah.
The politicians get in there and they change face. They collect a check, and it's beyond tiring. And it's all common sense. Treat your fellow man right. No humanity. Humanity's out the window. It's how much I can make on whose back I can break. And that's sickening.
I got mine. Pull up the ladder.
Roger. I am waiting for that golden politician. So, man, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. And that State of the Union last night was all lip service, in my opinion. It would be nice for it to be actual factual, but I think it's just lip service for another term, and I hope it doesn't work. I hope it doesn't, but, we have to see.
I honestly do not know at this point what this country will do, Jay. I know and I understand why it is that Joe Biden wants to have one more rodeo, because Joe Biden's goal, every fiber of his being, has been amass and retain as much power as allowed. It's like a thoroughbred horse. It knows how to run. It's like Tom Brady. He knows how to play football. Joe Biden knows how to politic. He knows how to speechify. He knows how to go out and glad hand donors and glad hand voters, maybe get a hair sniff in here and again. Do that thing he does where he's not threatening and he's not offensive, despite the fact that his entire life revolves around hanging on to as much power over the rest of us as possible. He's not going to stop. But I think that the Democratic Party is interested in seeing him continue, not as president, but as fundraiser in chief, as goodwill ambassador in chief. Everybody knows Kamala Harris doesn't have what it takes to be president. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's got a uterus. It has nothing to do with where her parents and her grandparents hail from. It has to do with Kamala Harris is just an utterly unlikable human being. Her greatest accomplishment is to make Hillary Clinton look warm by comparison. And so the Democrats have got to find somebody. And I really think that the Lizard King, Gavin Newsom, thinks it's his turn next. What terrifies me is I think there's voters out there that are looking at him that think that he's in that league. I don't think Joe Biden's a good guy. I don't think he's a satanic baby-eating villain, but he's a politician. And I think that the standards are slipping if people are looking at Gavin Newsom and thinking he's the same thing. But what else have they got? They're going to run Anderson Cooper? Jay, appreciate the call, man. It's always good to hear from you. Chris, sit tight. One more on the way on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
And one last look at Wednesday afternoon traffic. I have no specific incidents to report this time. The freeways are beginning to thin out just a little bit, traffic moving a little bit faster. Reminder, the city of Clovis has shut down a section of Nees Avenue for an infrastructure project to widen the street to 4 lanes and place utilities under the road. The city now says that Nees will remain closed between Clovis and Minnewawa Avenues until the project is completed. Drivers can find alternate routes through the area to the south at Alluvial or to the north at Teague. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Farmers work hard to make a living. Quality ag equipment should work for you and save you time and money. Stop out at the World Ag Expo and see the Peckway Orchard and Vineyard Spreaders. The best spreaders for any application, big or small. Our products are made by listening to you, the farmer. The Peckway Vineyard and Orchard Spreaders have a unique multi-attachment system that can handle any type of material, from conveying to spinner broadcasting to banding and all applications in between. The SF5 is our precision granular fertilizer spreader with a patented breakaway conveyor system. This protects your equipment while maintaining spreading precision from light to heavy applications. The right agricultural equipment can make a world of difference on the farm. Peckway will have a full display of products you can trust at the World Ag Expo. Stop on by and see for yourself. Peckway, the best vineyard and orchard spreaders, period. Visit us in the North exhibits at booth N36. That's booth N36. See you there.
NEM 3.0 is on the horizon, and change is coming. Call Solar Negotiators today to find out how you can lock in your savings under California's current solar policy. Speak with a consultant today to get pre-qualified for a zero-down, low-interest rate loan and go 18 months with no payments. Go solar with confidence through Solar Negotiators, your lifetime energy partner. To learn more about NEM 3.0 or to get a free quote, visit solarnegotiators.com.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. It's good news for all Americans who owe back taxes to the IRS or state and struggling to pay them back. The IRS is now making it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. due to the financial hardship many are facing in this current economic downturn. Qualifying for this program will settle your delinquent tax problem, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes and cannot afford to pay them, there's no need to worry. You may now qualify to settle your delinquent tax problem and save thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call the Tax Hardship Center, 800-411-6406. 800-411-6406. That's 800-411-6406.
Nobody does tax relief better than Tax Hardship Center.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild. When the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up, it's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main and Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
One search engine is used by 9 out of 10 consumers. Hint, the name begins with a G. And there are hundreds of things that go into being ranked highly by that engine. Your website, your business profile, even your social accounts. A couple of slip-ups and you find yourself on page 7. But at Cumulus Boost, we have the experts and resources to fix what's wrong and boost your findability so you can rank higher than your competition. Get started today at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS boost.com.
Coming soon from Valley PBS, the exclusive documentary film covering 100 years of KMJ. Stay tuned for details.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet of KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Ooh, rolling up on 6 o'clock on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. This is News Talk 580 on 105.9 KMJ. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way. You know what he's going to be talking about. Time for one more call here. We're going to hear from Chris. Take us home, man. You're on the air on KMJ, Chris. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me, Philip.
Yep.
I just wanted to make 2 quick points. I wanted to mention my favorite gaffe at the end. But first, I wanted to say I agree with you on the whole culture wars thing between both major parties. I think it's, in my ideal world, it'd be done, but I know that's not going to happen. And I also want to make the point that I'd like to say that both sides, certain Republicans, certain Democrats can get it triggered on issues, and I think that's apparent.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. But yeah, what was your favorite gaffe, man? What was the moment? If you tell me it's the kiss, I'm going to be upset.
No, I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but my favorite was when he was going to introduce the Ukrainian ambassador. He was reading the teleprompter. It looked like he was about to read her name, and then he just totally stopped and was just saying, "You," or "Can you stand up?" And he just never even tried to attempt her name. You could tell he was going to, but then he definitely did it.
The broad with the dark hair, the one that kind of looks like Mila Kunis. Come on, babe.
Exactly.
Chris, I appreciate the call, man, and have a good night. I'm not surprised to hear that the culture war thing is a point of fatigue. We've all got enough on our plates. Honest to God, if you think about all the stuff that you've got to do, I was just going through this with my other half, Mrs. Teresi, and I. We kind of keep a running honey-do list. And I know this sounds really small. Like, We're talking about the fact that I need to replace the screen on my master bedroom sliding glass door. It's not a big deal. It's not important. Except that it's going to occupy, 30 minutes of my life, if not tonight, tomorrow night. And I've got that, and I've got a kid that I'm raising. I got another kid that I'm trying to keep tabs on who's off living his life. He's a grown-up now. And I got dogs, and I got a house, and I got friends, and I got this job. I've got all of these things that require my time, my attention, my energy, and that require my investment, not just of mental energy, but of the money that I go and earn. Because replacing that screen, I can do it myself. That makes it cheaper. It's still not free. We have enough on our plates as Americans, as adults, as human beings, as neighbors. We have enough on our plates. Being mad at each other for private behavior that's nobody else's business is not productive. It is not a good use of our time. That's why Biden tested well, man, because he talked about the middle class. I don't think he meant a word of it, but he talked about it, and he talked about getting taxes right. Again, I don't think anything is going to happen, but it sounds good, and for a minute it feels good. That's all he needs, because that's how he gets the donations. I got to go. Mark Levin is on the way after an update of headlines from the Fox News team and a check-in with our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Thank you guys for a lot of fantastic phone calls today, for your time, for your attention. I will rejoin you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. Mark Levin is next. Don't move. This is KMJ.
Another one bites the dust.
The Valley's Legends and Legacies are brought to you as a public service by the family of Bill Tatham Sr. for you to experience the value of history as a learning opportunity to inspire your success today and as a spark of your imagination for the future.